destroyed.
Number one, number two, just say. Right, thing. Like the edit the video, then we upload it. 2 or 3 days later, that's it. No, this is the pandemic. Shalom, shalom.
One for one.
First and foremost, want to give praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Rakatham to the hopeful and sincere elect, man. You know, we're in the time of the pandemic. pandemic, man, whatever you want to call it. You know, I just received a strike on one of my videos on my latest channel. You know, so basically the latest video I did was basically on the famine that's coming. How it's ominous, meaning basically something deadly is about to happen, something, you know, crazy is about to happen. It's like looming on the horizons, man. You know, and this pandemic, which is being engineered by the wicked elite on the left, is definitely going to take a toll on the world economic stage, man. Food shortages, man, the deprivement of food and water resources. If we can get Ecclesiasticus 39, we start there.
Okay.
That's the necessities of life, man. Yeah. That's the food, water, all these things are necessities of life. And you got the wicked elite trying to deprive people of that right now, man. Why? Because they got a new world order agenda trying to accomplish. They want to starve the nations out to accept their new world order.
People get desperate when their tummy's rumbling.
Definitely go, I'll get that much people. Let's start. Yeah, above that. Start from 25.
See, Sirach 39 and 25 says, for the good are good things. For the good are good things created from the beginning.
Yeah, the Lord created all of this, everything that you see on the earth, the trees and the medicines that come out of the earth. The Lord said that was going to be meat for us. We were supposed to live off the land, you know, inherently, man. That's the free will of man. Man ain't supposed to be limited to what he can eat and drink, unless it's unlawful, you know. But as the world stands, man's supposed to be able to travel freely and eat freely, man.
Yeah.
There's laws and statutes on that. In the scriptures, the Lord talks about the grapes and if you got a vine and you got a couple of grapes left, leave it there for the poor, man. You know, don't just be overzealous and, you know, want for self and all that. But this so-called white man, he's the devil. He's got all this abundance of food. Even during the lockdown, the first lockdown, he had all this abundance of food in these restaurants. All they was doing was destroying it, throwing shit away, wasting resources, man. You know, and then blaming it on the average citizen. And you're the ones creating all the mess, man. All the pollution and all that. You know, but as I said, the Lord created the world for man to live and drink, eat, and travel freely on the earth. These so-called stipulations. You have to have a passport to go here. You have to have the stabbing jab to go there. You know. Now he wants you to have the charagma, man. If you don't have the charagma, you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't get around society. So you're gonna be basically an enemy combatant. You're gonna be basically like an outlaw. You know. And that's what he's trying to do, man.
Yep. It says, so evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing.
Yeah, man, those things are created for man to enjoy, to sustain themselves, man. Esau's trying to put a limitation on that shit, man. Like to say the Lord didn't create, like he created. So he can put a limitation on what a man can eat and drink. You guys, you man, soft white people with the devil, man. It tells you that mischief is in your hand. You're gonna orchestrate it in the daytime, man. They broke at noonday and all that. Because you soft white people are, satanic, man. And you want to accomplish and you want to by any means necessary, even if it means starving out a nation, man. Yeah. You know. And they really got it for Jakes, man. They really want to destroy you tribes, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because we are the children of the promise, man. We are the true sons of the living power, man. These so-called small hats that are running around orchestrating all this wickedness, man. You know, and own the financial stage and all that. They're not the true inheritance of the Lord, man. They're not the true inheritance of that land over there. That's why that land is totally defiled. You know, you can't grow nothing over there. That land was usually not back in the ancient world. It was known as fertile crescent. Yeah. You know, Mesopotamia and all that. That land was flourishing with greenery and all that, man. With livestock and all that. And now, if you go over there, that shit is looking like a barren land. Why? A barren wasteland because the wicked over there, man. And they've got a wicked vibration on the land, man. Yeah. Tel Aviv and all this madness, man. They turned the Lord's land into a concrete jungle, man. Yeah. It's like a mini America, man. Yeah. And you think the Lord's not going to destroy these devils, man? We're the destroyers of the earth.
You know, scriptures, I believe, in Joel speaks about, and they're part of my land, man.
Yeah,
that's what these guys have done. They've gone over there, you know, pretended that they're the people stolen our heritage. Like Miles, those are the job. Yes, he's hearing, you know, this Amalekite talk, you know, as if you're hearing them talking. They're talking about your own stuff as if it's theirs, and it's infuriating, man. Right? Because you know, the way they're talking about it. You know, if there wasn't so much security at Ben Gurion Airport and this, that, and the other, then you know the country will cease to exist. Why is it that you're everyone's enemy? Why are you so scared? You think in the kingdom of Israel we're gonna be scared? Hell no, man. The Lord is gonna have no one's even gonna try. In fact, because people are gonna be in such a state of happiness, they're gonna be wanting to come willingly because they're gonna be like, look, man, hey, these people are great. Right now, everyone's looking at them small hats as the vermin that they are, man. Yep.
That's why we're gonna have fun taking these levels down, man. When it's all said and done, when Yahweh Shai comes returns, man, you're gonna get first dibs, man. You're gonna get first grips on you devils around your damn red necks, man, and pull you devils down to the ground where you're supposed to be, man. Then we're gonna have fun putting our foot on your necks as well in the kingdom of heaven. That's where you belong, man. You belong underneath our foot, man. Inherently, man. You're not supposed to be a rival nation to us, man. You're a weaker nation, man. You're a weaker specimen, man. You're weak by nature. Even the way you look is weak, man. You know? You're inherently weak. It goes back to Genesis, the birth of Jacob and Esau, man. One should be stronger than the other. We're not supposed to be ruling over you devils. That's gonna happen, man. It's just like you got the heads up right now. You're gonna go back down to being the tail, man. Where you belong, man. The base of the men.
Quick one. It says Ecclesiastes 10:7. I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Yeah, because really you're a servant, but right now the Lord Yahweh has put you in a position of power. Your horses being on a horse that represents power and prestige, right? The Lord has actually put you on that level, but that ain't your natural position, and that's why you've gone wild with it. You know, when people get something they ain't supposed to have, they go wild, man. Right?
Yeah, now the power, man.
The power, that's it.
Power hungry, man. You're power drunk right now.
Yeah.
That's why you're down around, you know, pushing. You know, you got Elon Musk, Elon the Dust Musk. Now he's Iron Man and all of that. It's true because that Iron Man program I watched it the other day. It's even in the animation. He was, Tony Stark made a brain chip. made a brain chip and he was trying to test it out on his best friend, which was a Jake. He was like, yeah, you should try this out. He was telling them, yeah, I'm gonna enhance this and I'm gonna be able to put it inside people's brains. And it was the brain chip. And then in the modern day today, they're actually saying Elon Musk is like Iron Man, Tony Stark, man. And there's a representation of him. So he really, and then what? The Iron Man suit, his friend, he really represents Edomites, man. Elon Musk is Iron Man.
Yeah, and hey, what was the end of Iron Man and Endgame, man?
He got put out of Robotnik thing, health, man. That just shows you that these devils think they got to suffer from a god complex, man. They think that they're going to be ruling forever. You're not going to be ruling forever, man. That's just a pipe for you, man. You can try and make all these different creations, inventions, all you want, man. Try and rewrite the earth, go into space, all that shit. But all that's futile, man. If you're still going into slavery, let's go ahead up.
So Ezekiel 28, let's start from the top. It says, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, saying to the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the sea, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart is the heart of God.
Yeah, you're just a man, man. You're just a mere mortal that the Lord gave a little bit of power to. And with that little bit of power and inspiration, you've gone you've gone loose with it, man. You've gone power drunk with it, man. You've abused the power. Just by that little wisdom, knowledge, and little technology that the Lord gave. Because that technology has been here since the beginning of the time, man. It's always been here. That electromagnetic force, all that stuff has been here from the creation, man. And you devils have taken it, split the atom and abused shit. Then you created a bomb. The Most High made you do that so he can destroy you with your own inventions, man. Catch you in your own snare. That's why the Lord made you invent the bomb, the German, the Teemanites and all that during the 50s, whatever year it was. Started creating the nuclear bombs and all that, the atom bombs and all that stuff. Because that goes back to your blessing of the sword. Lord said he gave you a great sword that you kill one another and all that. Take peace from the earth. That red horse that represents you Edomites today, man. So you're doing what you was intended to do. But that doesn't mean you're going to rule the kingdom of the whole earth forever. The Lord said you're going to rule for a season, man. That season's just about time up.
So Psalm 49 and 11 says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places for all generations. They call their lands after their own name.
Yeah, man. After all the pillaging, the colonizing that they've gone around, but they still think, 2030, you're going to do this. 2050, you're going to do this. No, man, you've got a vain imagination, man. The Lord's going to destroy all that, man. All that's going to be short-lived. As soon as you fill your belly what you're about to, with this MOT to the B, that's why you're touting the CHIP right now, all over the damn place. You're saying, these brain chips can, heal any ailment and any illness. The brain chip can heal any ailment if you take it and all that. They're touting it because that's going to be the end all and be all with society. Once you push forth that mark, man, and people start taking it, your kingdom's going to go down that much quicker, man. And then all of a sudden, nuclear war, and then the bombs away, man. This place is going to be done. Finished, man. Finito, man. Lights out, man. And that's the beginning of Jacob's rulership, man. That's going to be the end of Esau's reign and the beginning of Jacob that follow it, man.
This is Revelation 16:14. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the God Almighty.
Yeah, them false miracles, man. Tells you that in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter as well, man. Lying wonders, man. False miracles, telling people you can be ill any ailment. You can become have superhuman strength. Like the children of Israel, we're gonna have that starting with the elect. We're gonna have those blessings, and we're gonna need to take no damn red pill or blue pill, man. The Lord is gonna inherently give us that, man. In the twinkling of an eye, the Lord said, "Go change us, man." We don't have to take no damn medicine, put a damn chip inside of our body, try to merge our bodies with machines to make ourselves superhuman, man. The Lord going to do that naturally, man. He's going to turn up the gears. He give us a new body, mortal bodies, man. That's the God complex. These Edomites trying to strive for that power, but you're never going to obtain it, man, because it's not for you. You can do all the experimenting and all that shit, splicing the genes, and all that shit you want. You're never going to find the elixir of life, because the elixir of life comes from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, man, from His only begotten Son.
We did a video with the brother Nate this week. was basically going into how this man he will be doing all these like you're saying all these surgeries or make you see again, but to do that first, you're gonna put you on the local and general anesthetic,
Yeah.
take things out, drill into your head. Yeah. Right, like I don't know if you ever seen people who have like the thing that said like they're deaf, but they'll have like a little thing there because it's like plugged into their brain, right? And then basically from that they're able to hear. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's like to help them with their hearing and shit like that. To actually have a thing ready in their head. How did your house show do it? When the man could see this little something,
just saliva,
yeah,
mixed it with the mud, and then put it on his eyes and he told the man, that's it. We come naturally from the earth, and man was born from the dust of the ground. And these Lord used the elements of the ground to heal the guy's ailment, man. Plus spiritual power because he's the Lord, man.
Yeah.
First and foremost, he can manipulate the elements to heal the man. Because when your body's basically got ailment, or you have a disease, the body's at disease. That's why they call it a disease. The body's disease.
Not at ease.
It's not at ease. That's why they call it disease. A disease. You know? The Lord, he's got the power over all of that, man. And really, all those things go back to the spirit, the left hand side. Those ailments are really just demons, man. They're a smaller brain. That Lord can, exercise those demons off people, man. He was doing that all throughout the scriptures, man. People will come up to him and say, you've got ailments, Lord, you heal them. Certain people will come up with legions of demons on them, but the Lord can heal them, man. Yeah. These people out here fucking possessed, man, and they don't even realize it, man. Everything in this realm is controlled by the spiritual realm, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, go back to so back in Sirach 39 and 27 says, all these things are good for the goodly, and so to the sinners they are turned into evil.
Yeah, because the Lord created all those things for man to use for the betterment to survive.
Yeah.
But also it can be used in the time of like great famine. Those things could be deprived from you, man. And those are the times that we're coming to now, times of great evil. People are going to be losing their minds literally for the lack and want of bread, for the lack of water, and normal supplies and all that. Natural supplies. They're even saying over here in the UK that the tap water is undrinkable now. You're not supposed to be able to use the tap water to even brush your teeth with. Because they're saying they've got certain different algae in there now. It's not just fluoride. It's been poisoned, man. Everything in the society is tainted.
Yeah.
So people are going to start losing their minds when they can't get to that water and all that, man. They show you that in the movie Mad Max. What was the main theme of the movie Mad Max? It was fighting over fucking water.
Yeah, it was.
You couldn't, there's no water anywhere. The only place you can catch water is with the fucking rebels and all that, man.
Yeah, because especially with water, you feel that quick. When you get hungry and you have after a while, your body,
especially in the scorching sun.
Yeah. Because with hunger, you can kind of get over hunger a little bit. Like you'll get hungry, then you won't be hungry for a minute. But with water, you're thirsty, getting headaches, right? You're feeling migraines and everything. It's almost not instant, but within a day, you're starting to feel it. Like, damn, I need to drink something, man.
Yeah, water. You can survive with water, man. Literally, you can't survive. You can survive without food, but you can't survive without water. Because your body's 70% water. You need to, put the salts back into your system, man. Yeah. Salt as well is another thing that people need to live off, man. And that's what's coming, man. So things are going to start getting drastically worse. That's why you're seeing the shipping market, the shipping cargoes and all that being halted. They're being held back. They're killing off the livestock. They just killed 3.5 million chickens the other week. And even in the March, I read one article, they killed 5 million in that time too. During the time of March, they burnt 5.3 million chickens death, man. They're saying the age of So these devils are orchestrating this shit on the left-hand side, man. Engineered famine. But ultimately, it's the Heavenly Father using these devils on the left-hand side to bring this famine, man. Yep. Second verse. 16.
Yep.
Tell me that. These things are sent for amendment, man.
Kind of goes further down.
Yeah, go ahead. Please, want to read it.
Says the principal things for the so verse 28. Now so there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made.
Yeah, so the Lord's got all kind of animals out here, animals that we ain't seen for a long time, just chilling in the cut, man. Don't forget the Lord's got like the Sasquatches as well, man. The abominable snowman, he's out there, man, in the woods, man. He's gonna be meeting these people in the time of Jacob's trouble, man, tearing their asses up, you know. Then you got all these kind of wild animals, man, you know, that are coming into the inner cities, you know, because of the breakdown of society. They're gonna be coming in, man, and they're gonna have that theme of flesh, human flesh. Because they're gonna be smelling dead bodies all over the damn place, man.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, I quite like this.
Yeah, they're gonna be looking for human flesh, man. Time of civil unrest, that's gonna be their new meat. You're all gonna put a fierce spirit on them animals, man. Tear people's asses up, you know.
So it says fire and hell and famine and death and death. All these were created for vengeance.
So the Lord created famine for vengeance. Man. That's why people need to fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Because in this time of this great famine, people are gonna understand why the Lord gonna let that happen. Because he's vexed, man. He's vexed with the leaders of this society, and he's vexed with the mindset of the people, man, especially 2/3 of his own people. If they want this place to go on as wicked as it is, as wicked as it can be, man. You got guys, what was that new advert, whatever it was, man, just fucking trying to talk about his first pregnant man and all that shit.
Oh, yeah, that
straight abominations, man. You got the woman holding them and shit like that.
Yeah, that was all kind of whacked out. You look at something, mind surprised like what the hell's going on.
That's the average thing today now, man. You know, men are feminine and shit like that, man. You know, women are being more masculine and shit.
Yeah, and it's one of them ones you know, don't checking out a chick. But then like I'll just look at her gait, the way she walks, and it's like you know, they have that kind of blokey walk. It's a turn off, man.
Women being the masculine and all that masculine traits of a man is not attractive, man. What man wants to date himself, man?
Exactly.
Man wants to date a tender, feminine, dainty chick, man.
Yeah.
You know? You don't want to date a fucking rude ass bloke. You know? He's trying to challenge you every fucking 2 seconds, man. You know, I want to date that.
Yeah, bitch, you walk with their shoulders up like this now, man.
I'm trying to tell you what? You know? That's the theme of the world right now, man. Men are being emasculated and women are being fucking masculinated, man. In this matriarchal society. This place needs to go, man. This is the filth, the vexation of the spirit. Everything under the sun, man, that brothers is complaining about, man. All the abominations done in the midst thereof. That's just part of it. Then you got the food and all everything else to go with it, man. Politics. This place needs to be revamped with fire, man. Literally, man. It needs to get scorched with fire. That's what's gonna happen, man.
Yep. Do you want me to jump straight to the point?
Start from Egypt Shamoon.
Okay. This is
the ground.
This is Second Ezra 15 and 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it.
So that's why Egypt is suffering right now. Modern day Egypt is where America, Babylon the Great, and the Lord going to hit that place with the same plague he hit ancient Egypt with, and then some, man. You know, just to remind people of who the Heavenly Father is, man. He's a terrible demon-like power.
Yeah.
You know, and his name is not El Shaddai, man. His name is Yahweh, man, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. You know, El Shaddai, or the mighty Yahweh, or the mighty one. That's just a title, man. That's not the Heavenly Father's name. El Shaddai just means terrible demon-like power. That's not his name. That's just a title. His name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. His son's name is Yahweh Shai. All these nations on the earth don't realize he's bringing upon these plagues on modern day Egypt when the time is come, right? When it's all said and done, everyone's gonna realize that it's the Heavenly Father, the God of the Hebrews, how the Hebrew Israelites is bringing this judgment upon the earth. They ain't gonna have no choice but to proclaim the name, man. You know, everyone's gonna have to bow down and kiss the ring and acknowledge the Most High and His Son. Go ahead.
Yep.
Whether they're Israelites or not. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it says Yes, this is verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fell through the blasting and hell, and with a fearful constellation.
Yeah, the thing is, farmers are moaning now.
Hmm?
They're moaning because their crops are being destroyed, their farms are being, burnt down by the wicked elite, intentionally, man. You know, other than that, their crops are dying off. They're not being able to reap the harvest in the right seasons. You know, the Lord's plaguing this place, man. It's plaguing the food shipping industries and all that, man. He's plaguing the food industry, should I say. You know, that's a curse of the Lord, man, to bring forth this famine. Even though it's Esau doing it on the left hand side, the Lord's using Esau as a whooping stick. Yeah. Psalm 17 and 13 tells you, man, that Esau is the sword of the Lord. Hmm? So the Lord's using Esau to destroy his own enemies, man. Yeah. To bring forth this great famine. Why? Because the Lord's pissed off, man, and he wants people to start dropping dead. Hmm? He said that death is one of the, terms of vengeance from the Lord. Yeah. The Lord, like we've been saying for the past couple of weeks, death is coming back in fashion, man. The Lord's going to start promoting more death in the earth. Because more death, more fear comes, man. Yeah.
So it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein.
Woe means a bad time, means lots of death is on its way. Ominous, man. Something bad is about to happen. Something's leaking around the corner, man. Something bad is about to happen. Woe to you, man.
It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
And the destruction draweth nigh, man. You're seeing it, man. Everything's just moving like dominoes, man. You can see the thing, everything. If your eyes are open, you can see it for what it is. This place is done, man. Yeah. All that's left is for that nuclear fire. That's what we've been saying. All that's left for this place is fire, man. There's no more elevation or no more. This place can't get any more greater.
Yeah. You know what it's like. It's you're bringing down a building. First stage of it, you lay down the charges.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what's been happening. The charges are all basically set now, and now everyone's just waiting for the word to hit that detonator. Man.
Yeah. It's gonna be a sweet demolition, man. Mm-hmm. That's what this empire's going under right now. Straight sweet demolition, right? They're just destroying it bit by bit. Yeah.
It's being 9/11, man. Like inside job. Brought down from the inside, man. So it says, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
Yeah, so this is when people are going to start going from civilized to uncivilized. There's going to be more civil unrest. People are going to be losing their minds. They ain't going to be able to pay off their bills. Yeah. Because everything's skyrocketing. Hyperinflation is going to start coming in. Then people are going to be living in the streets with their families and all that. People are going to be going to knock on these politicians' door, wanting the answers. But people are crying now, saying they want the bills lowered. They want their charges lowered and shit. They're not going to be paying their bills. Certain people are refusing to pay their bills, man. And they're blaming it on the government.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what? That's actually something because, for instance, I was just thinking about it now. Because you've got the whole thing in the States where you've got all of them protesters going up to the judge's house. Judge's houses just waiting outside. And I saw a clip earlier on today, basically in Sri Lanka. They were basically, because of the same similar situation, they're basically stopping politicians in their cars. You see them basically, hunting down the politicians. So now, as Esau knows, the more you amplify certain things on the TV, right, the more people are likely going to do it. So the more Esau speaks about people going up to politicians and harassing them, they're going to do it.
And people going to be looking for Boris Johnson and all them guys last day. You're sitting upside down in the street. Or going to the actual cribs and all that, sitting outside their houses and all that, like Hancock and all these guys. They're going to be waiting outside your cribs for you, man. Yeah. And when they see you, they're going to grip your asses up. Yeah. They're going to demand answers, man. If you don't give them no answers, if you don't tell them what they want to hear, that's your ass, man. So they're not going to regard their kings or priests. You're going to read it. Over there in France, all the truckers, they stopped their horse manure, man. They went around the major cities, major parts of the city, dumping trucks of horse manure because they started raising up the prices, man. People ain't having it, man. And those people over there in France are more rebellious, man. Yeah. As soon as they hear something going on in the news, they just rebel straight away. They don't wait, man. Over here in the UK, they're a bit more simpish, man. They wait for fucking ages till it basically hits the fan. Then they want to start revolting, man. Over there in France, as soon as they heard that they want to hike up the prices, them man got their trucks. The farmers jumped in their truck, got all that horse manure, and dumped it in the main cities and the streets, man.
They them French love a good ride, man.
You know what I'm saying?
They love it, but it's true. Yeah, these Brits, man, they just take everything lying down, man. Just roll over. Just get rolled over.
They just take it until it's like the last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the other nations, they like Germany, well, as soon as they hear something, they're out there on the street. They're rebelling, man. They're not having it, man. But this just shows you how weak them out there, like England is. Yeah. The people of England, they're weak, man. And America, the same thing. It's gonna take a bomb to go off for them niggas over there to start breaking loose out there, man.
Hey, well, even our people are very much in that space. What did it say of Judah? You shall rouse them up.
Yeah. They're like a lion's roar. They just there couch down. Yeah. Like what's that? With Wizard of Oz. The lion was very timid and very frail until he got back his mind again. And Wizard of Oz is basically based on America. You know, Dorothy and shit. That shit's basically based on America, the wicked elite. You know, behind the curtain and shit. You know, and people think they're in a fairy tale land. That's America, man. That American dream, dancing through the daisies and shit like that, singing and dancing and shit. You know, the American dream is a mirage, man. People actually believe in that shit. They're gonna soon realize it's a nightmare.
Oh, but that's what the scriptures refer to it as wine.
Yeah, right? That
wine, because like when you're under that wine, for instance, they give you like in terms of women, beer goggles, right? Your yaks, you're looking at a chick, you're like, oh, she's bad. But then you wake up the next day, you're like, oh shit. Why? Because you're sober now and you're able to see her for what it is.
Open. Yeah. Got them day live glasses on. What about the body piper glasses on? You see her. When you turn your head in the morning, you see her for what she truly is. All them spots and shit start revealing. Damn, man, she got craters in her damn face.
Oh, man.
I slept with this bitch. Yeah. They put the light off. You know the ones that like, you know? You don't realize that, you know, all these bitches. And that's why everything's fake, man. It's not like these women, man. They live a fake lifestyle, man. They adorn themselves with all this fucking apparel, put on tons of makeup. But then when you see them in the morning, they don't look nothing like they did the night before, man. When you saw them, you know, that's because they're living a false reality, man. It's all fake, man. It's all made up. It's make believe. That's just like America. America's a make believe society, man. Making you think you can make yourself great, and you can live lasciviously, and nothing can happen to you. And then on the other side, you got the whole economy falling by the wayside, man. Yeah. The money is totally depleted. It's not worth anything no more. Yeah. But people still want to make it in America, man, buying land and all this houses and shit. That shit's gonna be destroyed, man. Yeah. Ask Kevin Samuels, man.
Yeah.
You have to find out the hard way. America's nothing but a false reality, man. God have to wake his ass up, by taking him back to the spiritual realm, man. Yeah.
That's the only what is scripture the saints I learned after death by pain.
Yeah. So a lot of people over there in America, especially the black excellence and all that, you niggas over there, you're going to find out the hard way that American dream is not your salvation, man. It's a lie. It's a lie, man. Bullshit.
It says, so 2 Corinthians 15, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
Yes, it's going to be like people fighting over food, racial tensions as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Class tensions.
There's going to be all kinds of tensions, man. It's all going to culminate into this people just breaking out, blood touching blood, man. People just not regarding other people's lives no more. You know?
The scripture says of Yahweh Shai about coming to bring division.
Yeah.
Right? That's for instance, and that's why the Lord has basically had over the last 2 or 3 years. Well, really always, but especially with like since Trump and onwards. You know, Trump's office, families were divided. Oh, I can't believe you voted for him. Well, then now you've got this whole abortion thing, the whole, did you get the jab thing? Those that believe it will, those that are pro-Russia, pro-Ukraine. All of these different points of social attention, right, is basically what the Lord is pushing out there right now. People are already divided.
Yeah, divided.
You have a household where it's in the right. That's it.
People actually believe in that politics.
That's it. No, okay. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their way, in their power.
Why are they going to be invading one another? Because they're going to be lacking. Yeah. They're going to be lacking resources. They're going to be lacking monetary funds. And they're going to want answers, man. And when they ain't receiving them answers, they're gonna go knocking on certain people's doors, especially these leaders, man, or these governments. They're gonna be knocking on the government leaders' doors, man. You know, your city politicians and all that. They're gonna, all them suit and ties. You're gonna be targeted in days, man.
Yeah.
You know, these game, a lot of people riding your bike throughout the city. You know, without thought, people will be grabbing you off in the middle of the street, man, holding your ass up for ransom, man, demanding answers.
Because what you call them people, they've lived a comfortable life, so they have no need to know any form of difficulty. But you see them, a lot of them they're weak, man.
Word, man.
Word.
Bunch of fucking niggas, man. The other day, the other one politician got caught watching porn in the parliament, man. He got fired or whatever. Now they're saying this guy that was talking shit against Boris for drinking and going to different parties, he's in the same situation now. He got caught in the beer allegations or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about Starmer.
Beer gate, yeah.
Keir Starmer,
beer gate and all that. He was talking shit about Boris going to these different parties during the lockdown, but then he got caught in the same shit. So it shows you that these damn politicians are a bunch of worms, they're a bunch of devil worshippers. They're not about what they say, man. It's all fucking it's a circus show, man.
And in America, it's almost like a religion, man.
Yeah. Then they just killed out of it a couple months ago. That's why they got turn up security and all that shit, levels of security. And now the politicians have to walk around with security guards because they killed my man in the church. Even though that was a false flag. But that guy got executed in the damn church, man. Even my MP, whatever his name was, man. Ames, man. He got put to death.
David Ames.
You know? He got killed by a citizen in the damn Edomite church, man. So that shows you that them groves, them modern day churches, ain't the place to be in the time of civil unrest, man. That ain't gonna be no safe haven. You gonna get executed. Even in that movie, The Purge, you know, when it was the Jakes basically fighting against you know, Edomites and stuff like that, the first Purge, you know, which that was based upon Jakes basically. Jacob's Trouble. You had a whole bunch of niggas run up on the church and they got executed, man. You had all these foreign troops and all that people coming from outside. The first place they went to was the damn church, and he executed all the niggas that was in there. He executed all those niggas that were in there. So the church is not a safe haven in the time of Jacob's Trouble, man. That's not the place to be when all hell breaks loose. People gonna resort to run into the church because they think that's a holy place. You know, that land is neutral. That place ain't neutral, man. You gonna get taken out. You're gonna find out that the Most High don't dwell in the temple made with man's hand, man. Only place to know is dwelling in these scriptures, and within you have the spiritual mark. That's the only place the Lord's gonna be dwelling in the time of Jacob's trouble, man.
Yeah, because if I can say real quick, them churches they represent a Cesare Borgia, huh? Right. So when you're running into them, you're really running into another God for protection, running into another God for protection. So your most are gonna deal with.
It tells you that in Jeremiah 2. Yeah. And those idols saved you in the time of trouble. Can those idols save you in the time of trouble? The answer is no. They can't. So what's the worth? What is the point of niggas going out there to them damn groves, man? And that's why the spirit on them churches right now, everyone's leaving that pagan Christianity, man. People starting to realize that shit is nothing but song and dance, man. Every weekend you stand there for song and dance. You ain't learning nothing, man. The pastor's lying to you. You're filling his pockets. He's getting rich off the back of him feeding you lies, man. I'm not telling you the truth. But who you are, who your enemy is, man. What's coming down the pipe? Instead, he's telling you prosperity and all this bullshit, man. That's BS. Jeremiah 2:28. Start from 27. Same to verse 26. It says, "As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets." So it's showing you that there's going to be a lot of false prophets out here in these last days. You know? When a guy calls you a prophet, doesn't necessarily mean you're a righteous man. It could be a false prophet. You know, like a lot of these guys in Israel right now, it says you got to be wary of them of the circumcision, man. You got to be wary of them because those guys that are supposed to know better, some of them are straight up false prophets, man.
Yeah.
Sent here to basically sow discord and teach lies and pervert the gospel because the Lord's not dealing with them, man. got to beware certain men. You know? The alphabet caps. Verse 27, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. And that's what the majority of the people of the world worship, man. They worship wood and stone, man. You know, false idols, dumb idols that have no power, man. They can't speak to you, can't hear, you know, can't deliver you from no struggle. I mean, where's Allah at and all this hell's breaking loose over there in the Middle East, man? Those people getting hit with all kinds of shrapnel and all that, shellings and shit. Where's Allah at, the moon god, man? That shit don't exist. Muhammad jumped on Pegasus and cut half the moon. Come on, man, that's what you call a myth. That's a straight up myth, man. That's a lie, man. Ain't no man gone up to the moon and cut it in half on a damn horse called Pegasus, man. How come they ain't doing it today? If that's the case, just done it once. That's bullshit, man.
I was gonna say, if I can say, people may be like, "Oh, but where was your God when you was in captivity?" Well, that he said we was gonna go.
Yeah, he said he turned his back on us, man.
Yeah, prophecy about it.
He said basically he's not fucking with us, man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he said that he's not fucking with us, man, because we disobey these laws, statutes, and judgments. So as a punishment, he said, all right, you want to worship these false gods and idols, let them come into live when you're enslaved.
But if I can say, even in that though, he was still with us, because any
He
other
was
nation,
delivering us.
any other nation would have just been through.
That's why the scripture said, no man shall buy you. No one can save us except our Lord and Savior, Yahweh.
Yeah.
That's what Jacob wants you to understand. No one can deliver us except the Lord. That's why he said, no man shall buy you. No one was coming to our aid. But you might have different rebellions and that turners and stuff, but they didn't do enough for us to be liberated as a nation.
Yeah, because we're still in captivity to this day.
Yeah, they might have killed a few crackers and all that, you know, got a little adrenaline rush, but at the end they all got taken out. Why? Because that was not the time of our salvation, man. That was the time. And that was the time when the Lord's coming to liberate us, deliver us from our enemies, man. And he's the only one that can do it. That's why we need Yahweh Shai, man. These ignorant jakes out here talk about you don't need to worship the Lord. You guys use your minds, man. Yeah, your minds, man. I mean, the sick Ari, they just keep changing the doctrine from week to week. You know? From week to week, they're changing the doctrine, man. Because they're really not, you know, down with Yahweh Shai, man. They really don't want him to come back and reign.
I think they can have it.
Talking about we're already perfect and shit. Like, how we perfect? Why we need the Lord if we're perfect already? What are you talking about? If you're so perfect, why do you need to walk around with bulletproof vests on, man? You're so perfect. Why do you need weapons of warfare to defend yourself? Yeah. You're so perfect, man. It don't make no fucking sense. Lead perfect. We're going to be perfect when the Lord returns. That's the whole point of him coming back.
But this week. And this is 1 Kings 18 and 17, just on the point on the false prophets. And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah that Ahab said unto him, art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, and that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord, and thou hast followed Baalim. And now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent unto all the children of Israel and gathered the prophets together unto Carmel. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord Yahweh be the Most High, follow him, but if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Then Elijah said unto the people, even I only remain a prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves and cut it in pieces and lay it on wood and put no fire under. And I will dress under the bullock and lay it on wood and put no fire under. And you call the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord Yahweh. And the God that answereth by fire, let him be the Most High. And all the people answered and said, it is well spoken.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be happening now. We will be trying to test the Most High. So we got the test for you, man. You bring your false idols and all that, and then let our power come and see who has the victory, man. And it's going to be how about Shem Yahweh.
Because it's the same with when it comes to the name of the Lord. Certain people saying you don't need to know it, you don't need to reverence it. It's like, okay, cool. Hey, you call on Christ in that day.
Call on Prophet Allah, call on Jesus the Christ and all that, and see if that's it. We're going to call on Yahweh Shem Yahweh. I said we're gonna see the difference.
What's that one? As for me and my house.
Yeah. Jeremiah 2:27, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. But they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. He says, but where are thy gods that thou hast made me? Yes, so you're gonna call on the Most High, telling me to save you. Why do you call upon your false idols, man? All your little deities and shit that you've been worshiping behind closed doors. No? It says, but where are their powers that thou hast made? Let them arise if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. Yes, in the time of Jacob's trouble, we're gonna see who's the true power of the heavens and the earth. Because you got these niggas, they're gonna be holding up their cross and saying, Jesus Christ, all that, save me. You got certain niggas that are gonna be screaming, Allah and Allah Akbar and all this other shit, you know, hitting their ground upon the floor and all that, getting max and all that. And then we gonna have the Hebrew Israelites calling upon Yahweh Shem Shai and glorifying the name, you know, greatly, man. You know, and we're gonna see the power, man. The Lord's gonna be with those men. The Lord's gonna just show the different, the distinction, man. And these other nations and their idols, their false idols, they're gonna be looking dumb. That's what they are, dumb idols, man. It says, if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble, for according to the number of thy cities are the powers of Judah. Yes, and the Lord's gonna make that distinction. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, in Iran they had this press woman that basically a member of the media that reports on the fuckery that Israel is doing in that region of the land. And then the Israeli forces killed her. And then the pallbearers at her funeral, the Israeli police started attacking them. But the God of Islam didn't intervene and then start and save them. They had, even the US was like, yo, this is a bit concerning. Even the US had to come in and say, yo, the images here are a bit concerning, you know, being peace, be politically correct. But Allah didn't intervene and punish those Amalekites, man. Because he has no power, man. Like you said.
It was Allah when Saddam Hussein was getting taken out, man.
Yeah.
It was Allah when he was getting hit up. You know? There's nowhere to be found, man, because they don't exist.
Acts 4:12, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Yeah, man, because in the spirits of our thinking as well, all of these different nations have an account of the major things that the Lord did upon the earth, such as the flood, for example. Like, and it's common knowledge. Even some of these Muslim and Jakes and all the rest of them have that. Even, you know, they try and claim that, you know, their powers are behind it, but ultimately everybody knows as a basic one-on-one substance of life that the Heavenly Father, the God of the Bible, that was the one that was caused the flood. We have a rainbow because the God of the Bible ordained it. So if nobody attributes like the rainbow and basic things like you know, pretty much the creation of the earth to the God of Islam. That's why the Bible is the most public book on the earth. Because even though these people are bugged out, everybody knows in their spirit that the Bible is really where it's at.
That's why Haman Malone won't come along trying to pester us, man. Because he knows the truth is in the scriptures, man. He ain't fucking with the Islam and none of that, those other religions, Buddha and all that. Because all that's just man-made religions, man. So he knows the Bible. When you're touching the Bible, you're touching something. You're touching something heavenly, glorious, man. Something powerful, man. Something above this realm. That's in the scriptures, man. Only certain men have got, you know, the pieces to the puzzle, so to speak. Starting from the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, man. That's why Paul came along keeps trying to mess with us, man. Because he knows we got the truth. He ain't fucking with the black unconsciousness groups and all that chemical shit. You know, the Keeper Knee guys, Rastafari. He ain't fucking with them because he knows that they ain't got the truth. We got the truth. He's envious of us, man. He really wants to be us.
Okay. Luke 10 and 23. And he turned unto his disciples and said privately, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see. For I told you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them.
Yeah, because the Bible is the only book that deals with prophecy, right? And even back then, the men of the Lord, like when the Lord came on the scene, they thought that was it. The kingdom of heaven's lit. We're here now. They thought the Lord's going to set up the kingdom as soon as he died. Rose from dead. They thought that was it. He's going to set up the kingdom now. He's like, look, man, take the time. You're still going to go through hell. It's going to be, falling away first. Then after that, that's when the kingdom's gonna come. You know, the history got to be revealed.
Yeah.
Which we're seeing right now is the Edomites, so white man. They're in the ruling class seat. They're creating all the fucking madness that's going on the earth right now. You know, promoting all this lascivious and perverse behavior, living lifestyles and shit like that. You know, so the wicked's being revealed. So now the earth is going to be judged. The leaders are going to get ready to be judged. Huh? Then the kingdom of heaven is going to come. Those men that were desiring to see the Lord back then, in the kingdom of heaven, they're going to see it. Reincarnation exists. God said Matthew 19, 28.
But I told you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which you see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear and have not heard them. This is the book of Matthew, the 19th chapter, and the 28th verse. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah, so that's what the Lord back then was waiting for. That's what the Lord promised us, man. That's why we have to keep doing the work that we're doing now.
Yeah.
Our labor of love, even if life unto death, because we're gonna reap those rewards, man. If we're one of those men, you know, those will be part of that hope. We'll let that number, man. Part of those renowned men. And scriptures, man.
Even the land back you and say, in the spirit of us being a nation of kings and priests, there's different accounts of all the captivities we went into of individual great men in Israel becoming prominent leaders and saving even the nations that enslaved us, man. Like in Egypt, you had Joseph and the what's it called? The Persian Empire, you had Mordecai pretty much, become like high kind of ranking official in Media Persia. And then even in Babylon and that you had Daniel as well, who was elevated because he interpreted the dream for Nebuchadnezzar. So ultimately our people's spirit is on a high vibration anyway, man. They get up into something, into society, and look like from the very bottom, man. But Daniel was actually thrown into prison because of Pharaoh's wife and that. And he rose from that. Joseph, that's the word. So, and from Joseph was thrown into prison of the false accusation of rape, and then he came right back up now into prominence, man. It shows we're a nation built for women, man.
Yeah, that's what so we built this, and it's true. Whenever Jake's been put in different captivities, right? We're the ones that really made those captivities great, man.
Of course, we
right?
did the same thing with slavery.
Yeah.
You know,
Matthew 5:13 is we yield the sword of the earth, right? Because what I was making earlier on in that, if any other nation had gone through the kind of captivity we went through, they would have been done, right? That's even why supposed to make the joke, man. They're gonna have to get Edomites from outer space, man.
On the first day,
that's it. There'll be a major slaughter in Edom, man. In that day, the first day of the kingdom of heaven. There's gonna be a major slaughter, man. The nations, man. But we're gonna excel. Yeah, man. We're gonna
excel. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. That's gonna be our relief, man. Letting loose on these nations for a little while. So we're gonna have fun with them, man. Them and their little kids, man. We're gonna take the kids, dash them against the stones. We're gonna be happy doing it. We're gonna be sad. Happy shall we be, man? Take the little ones, dash them against the stones. By any time, possibly down to Christopher Columbus and shit.
Yeah.
Quotes that he had, scary quotes that he said during the time of slavery, the wickedness saying, quoted about Jake, about how kind they are. It makes it even more easier for us to destroy them and slave them.
That shows Esau's an asshole, man.
Asshole, man.
Hey, because that shows the scripture says the spirit that is within him, right? Not upright, and also in Genesis the prophecy was that they shall have two manner of nations are in our womb. Because Jay, when someone does something good for Jay, what scripture the gift is for the heart? Jay will consider it like, hey man, these man they help me out and this, that, the other. So let me be cool with them, let me do what I've got to do. Esau on the other hand, he sees it as an opportunity to take.
Being, man. A bunch of potential liars as well. It says
Nation of
demons. It says a love work with no ill to his neighbor, man. Native Americans took you in with open arms. They looked after you and all of that, man. You just want to destroy them. Why? Just because you hated them, man. Because of who they are.
Yeah, man.
You know, and the envy and jealousy, man, it shows you he saw spiritually Cain, man. Cain envied his brother, not because he was, you know, any better than him, but because he was righteous, man.
Yeah.
He had a righteous spirit, you know, and the Lord was dealing with his man. You know, it was really like one and the same Cain and Abel. Cain was good, just didn't have the spirit to be right. Sadly, to forget about the spirit. He wished he hated each other that much, he just had to murder him in cold blood, man. You know, act like he didn't do it. That's the same thing with Esau. Esau just hated him for the sake of hating, man. It really just goes back to the womb, man, because there was fighting in the womb, you know, with enemies from the womb, man. So that's what it is. But that just shows you, man, that these Edomites, they never had no ounce of mercy upon us, man, during the time of the Inquisitions, you know, Spanish Inquisition, you know, the slave trade and all that. These devils just drive all out and things. Man. So how are we not going to do the same thing? We're going to return the favor, man. We're going to get you guys back. We're going to get you guys back. Listen, go ahead.
Yeah. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with Satan.
Yes, there's no bygones being bygones for, you know, letting it keep it for clean slate. No, man. You know, the clean slate is when we got your ass in slave. We do want to do what you done to us. Put your asses on cargo stations, like sardine cans and all that. You know, shipping your ass across the globe. You know, Israelites transatlantic slave trade is going to be greater than, you know, this modern day slave trade. We're going to be literally going to be shipping you everywhere, man. And the four ways of the earth.
Okay. Well, like what you're going into now, look at the so-called continent of Africa, where west coast of Africa, where Jacob dwelling. Jacob's so fucked up. Like most so-called West African countries, it shows you that back to Africa shit is bullshit anyway. Average African countries are about 50 years old. Like for example, like Ghana is like 53. Nigeria is probably about around about still developing. How can you and then how could you have like thousands of years the earth has been in place? Jacob only so-called been liberated for about 50 years or so from the so-called liberated. But then Esau knowing that he'll funnel all that money from Germany that the store has in Amalek land. He'll still be flying over Africa, dropping rice on big and sending people like fucking the gunner in there to go adopt some children and send them into a.
Hey, which even just about what you said, like which the Moabites, they you know they're heathens too. They go and fight. At least when they went there, at least when they're going to take Africa's goods, right, the land of Ham's good. At least they're building shit whilst they're there. They build you a dam and then put you into jet slavery that way.
Yeah.
But at least now you got electricity.
Yeah, bro. Esau will just drop you some bags of rice
Yeah,
and then take the rest of the money through UNICEF or the Red Cross or one of these bullshit.
That's why all these heathens, they're going to get it. The Moabites, all of these nations, they're going to get it, man. Esau's going to get it the worst.
I was going to say that's why it says in Sirach 10:4, right, that the Lord is going to set up over the rulership of the world one that is profitable, because these Moabites ain't profitable. Because right now, what are they doing? They're just building off of what Esau's ground was. Same philosophy. I was saying, you know, because I think it was Kenya, right? They built like a train line in Kenya, right? I believe it was Kenya, but basically they used Kenya's port as collateral. Right, so they knew that Kenya wasn't be able to pay them back. So then now they've got Kenya's #1 source of national income.
Things are going to change, man. The oppressors are going to be soon to be oppressed themselves.
Yeah.
This is the book of Luke 16:1. And he said unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, how is it thou art heard this of? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest no longer steward. So like, let me just quickly get to it now. Listen, yeah, so verse 19, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fairly sumptuously every day. Fair sumptuously every day.
That's these devils, man. They've got the purple raiment on which represents royalty. They're living in the high life, so to speak. They're top echelon society and shit. That's why you got my man Prince Charles.
Yeah.
You guys to different meetings and shit. Now look, he's the king now.
He's the king, yeah.
The Queen's out of commission, man. She's out of there, man. Can't even move, man. She's not mobile no more, man. He's probably already in the past. He's just lying and saying she can't move. He's probably already dead already, man. King Charles is in business right now, man. That's why he's down there for these meetings. The Jubilee that's going to be in June and all that. Charles is going to be there. The Queen ain't going to be there, man. Guarantee it's not the Queen ain't going to turn up. It's going to be King Charles, man. That's going to be the Jubilee of King Charles, basically. He's emergence into the royal family, to the royal scene, whatever, being king and all that. Because he's going to be the head. And it says that he's even been saying it for months. And when he gets in there, that's, you know, the WEF, he's down with the WEF, you know, Klaus Schwab and all these guys. He's for that, all that shit, man. So when he gets in there, he's going to really push the fucking, the New World Order agenda hard.
If I can say, there was something that came out, I think it was this week, where them man were basically saying we need to accelerate the Agenda 2030, man. You know, because that's that, you know, precepts up with you know, the point that you're making in Revelation 12 and 12.
They say the money system, if it crashes, they ain't gonna print the money no more with the Queen's head on it. They're gonna have to come with a new currency with Prince Charles. So they ain't gonna waste time, you know, printing new money. Yeah, they're gonna digitize it for Prince Charles' head on that. Say that, you know, this is Prince Charles' coin.
With all of the work being done on digital money, look, it just makes sense. You know, you can't be complaining about, because he's a big Prince Charles, King Charles is a big one on environment and energy.
King Charles, come June, whatever that Jubilee, whatever. King Charles is going to be in position.
Yep. Yeah, well, saying he's big on that whole environmental this, environmental that. So a good argument for him will be like, look, there's no point reprinting the money, right, with my name on it.
That's why we fuck about it, man. Babylon the Great needs to be destroyed. These niggas need to be destroyed, man. You know, this place is foul, man. You're on the fucking delete. These niggas need death. Death's gonna come knocking on their doors, too. Hey, y'all watching y'all side. Destroy these niggas, man. No talk, man. What the fuck is that, man? Niggas wearing a damn skirt. What the fuck, man? We're supposed to accept that. That's normal. What the fuck is normal about that? Niggas in a walking abomination, man. We're gonna destroy all these, man. How about Shem Yahshai destroy you and your damn household, man?
Yeah. Yep, and your enablers, man, because we were kind of speaking on that before. So all of these bros be enabling these views of themselves and mankind. You know? But yeah, so we're speaking about King Charles and that.
Yeah.
We're saying, for him, he's all about the environment. The thing he can easily just say is like, look, man, hey, there's no point reprinting all of the millions of notes out there and all of the millions of coins. It's not just the notes, the coins as well. Right, it's a waste of time. We might as well just go straight into the digital. It's no a coincidence that all of these nations right now, right, all of these major economies right now are doing proof of concept work on CBDC, central bank digital currency, man. Right? And it's the thing, he's pulling the wool over people's head, pushing this idea of decentralized. It's not, it's about centralized.
Yeah, bro. They always control that shit anyway. People used to think, oh yeah, you can make your own money untaxable and all that. Look, when that thing first came in, brothers knew what the agenda was. But, you know, it was a new scheme. So people were trying to jump in first, see if they can grab little things out of it. You know? But we always knew it was going to go anyway. We knew that. Banks were going to get rich of that.
Yep.
Put stipulation shit that big. That was going to be the new monetary system.
Well, a lot of these places now, all of them, you got to do a KYC and know your customer, right? Because it's not like back in the day, for instance, with Bitcoin, where you can just on your computer mine Bitcoin and get cash. Now you actually have to go on the platform and buy the Bitcoin, right? Or someone sending you a base, they're able to do a trace on that, man, right? Because they know who bought what and when, right? So then, guess what? Now you got to do something called a capital gains tax, because you made a profit. You now got to go and report that to the authorities. Hey, by the way, I made a profit and all of that crap. Right? I had something to speak about King Charles.
Okay, go ahead.
It says Psalm 73:5. It says they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So it's a precept of what I'm reading there. See?
Yeah, no, just in that monetary system, man.
Okay.
Go back to that, 15.
Okay.
But it tells you, man, that the reason why the Americans really don't destroy it is because of their monetary. Because that shit's gonna drive them into other, circumstances, and basically putting their nose to other business. It's gonna backfire on them, man. They're gonna start fucking up with these other countries. No one wants to fuck the American dollar no more. The thing about the ruble is the best,
performing currency.
performing currency right now. So it's like America. Everyone's done with America. That currency is dead. That's all that comes with dealing with that petrodollar. Yeah. More tax and sanctions. That's all you get with dealing with that damn petrodollar. But the Russians, they're like people are, living a bit better. They make better decisions and shit dealing with that group. Right? I guess there's just less restrictions in that. All they want you to do is make sure you change your shit and move it.
Yeah.
And you can eat the fruits of your labor.
Real quick, to what proved the pound and the dollar is fucked, because the pound and the dollar are synonymous in how like pretty much they operate. In the UK and the US, basically in 2003, like minimum wage was £6 something, like £6.34 roughly, and you can survive off that an hour. And they've had to raise it to about £11 for in 2022, which is pretty much not exactly double, but near enough double what it was in 2022, which shows you how fast it is.
Is that even what's living wage? Because it's minimum wage and then it's living
wage. Yeah, it's I'll have to check.
It's like burn stuff.
The living wage is 11.
Yeah.
Living wage is £11, and it was £6. Yeah, and it shows you it's double pretty much near enough. It shows you how fucked up the place is.
Living wage is only for certain like in the city.
Yeah.
Like if you work in the city area or that live in the city, then you can get the living wage. But other than that, outside of that, you're gonna be getting the minimum wage, like £9.50. No one can live off that. That's crumbs, man. Even £11 is still crumbs, man. But that's even dirt. That's dirt crumbs, man. Like £9.50. How you gonna survive off that? All the bills and everything skyrocketing in price right now. I'm telling you, jumping up in how much percent? Like you can't survive off that in £9.50 an hour. Damn near just gonna be broke, man. Living by check from check to check. You're always gonna be in fucking personal debt. You're gonna always gonna be in like arrears, man. With your paying your bills and working for £9.50. Who the fuck can survive off that? But that's the society for you, man. But that's what Esau's going to amalgamate into the GI system anyway. Universal credit system. He's going to amalgamate all those different credits that people get. Minimum living wage, whatever. He's going to give one amount, and it's going to be a digitalized currency, man. And it's going to be credits and debit. That's all you're going to be able to survive off. Man. The only way you're going to be able to get that is if you take the down corruption. You don't take the chip, you get none of those government benefits. The Section 8 and all that shit that they do in America. All that, with them different benefits and that. They're going to amalgamate it into that UBI system, man.
Because it's one of the World War II, I think. After that is when they introduced passports, like a world major event. So then the next world major event, it just made sense that a new passport is going to be brought in.
That's going to be a currency.
Yeah. Hey, well, this last world event, the sea boogie, right? That brought in passports, right? You want to go into certain countries, you got to prove that you comply.
This is the final phase of that. Chip is the final phase. We're definitely going to push it to Jake's going to end up taking that shit. You can see it. Jake's simple as well.
Yeah.
They just think it's new technology. Not realizing they're taking that from Mark to beat.
Oh, you wanted the Ezekiel 28?
Oh, yeah, 15 years.
It's Ezekiel 28:15. Thou was perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created.
It's talking about Esau Edom, man.
Till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
Yeah, so let's talk about Esau and that monetary system, this American empire. It's gone around, amalgamating wealth or whatever, through the act of war, violence. There's shed a lot of blood over this damn petrodollar.
Yeah, they have.
They've done a lot of fucking, how you call it, not assassinations, but takeovers, should I say?
Mercenary.
International takeovers with the IMF.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
All the banks and shit. It created a lot of fucking wars and shit, conflicts based upon that fucking dollar, man. I mean, like things like even down to the drug thing, like Nicaragua and all that.
Contra,
My man Rick Ross and all that, the original Rick Ross.
Yeah.
It's that new program Snowfall is about. Show you all that war conflict that he started in Nicaragua with the FBI and shit.
Yeah.
It's all because of that fucking dollar, man.
Yeah.
It started fucking conflicts, wars and shit.
Hey, no, that was
Lords of War. When Nicolas Cage just put that movie back on Netflix. They show you how they just start conflicts and what all about money with each other.
because even here it is equal the devil to take the piss out of Jake by throwing bananas, right, at Jake or whatever. But this man actually invaded Latin America with bananas. Man. You know that company Chiquita, right? Because when that used to be the American something or other, I believe they renamed it. That's what Eagle does. He makes it pretend like it's from a certain place, but actually ain't from there. Chiquita's an American company. If it's the one that I'm remembering. But yeah, he actually, like you said, he actually went and killed and got a whole load of people killed for bananas, man. Right? That's the deal. That's the kind of deal that we're dealing with. And then he's talking about the drugs. That was the whole Iran Contra with the Iran Contras and all of that. Right? Sending weapons and then yeah, man. All the nations remember what you've done, even, man.
Power of the dollar.
And then
blood money.
Yeah, man, and then through their witchcraft, they'll give you like a James Bond and have
Really, he's the villain. James Bond is really the villain. He's upholding the ideals and morals of the fucking MI6, IMF. He's upholding their morals, their standards, man. Subjugating the nations, basically, maintaining power. Anyone that wants to come out of that, basically want to set up their own little system. He said they try to take it from.
He said that Jeff.
You know what I'm saying? James Bond really is a Jeff. He's really the villain.
But this Proverbs 22:7, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. This devil has no position ruling the society, man. He goes against every law in the Bible. Every single one, all 613 plus, every single one he breaks, man.
I think about
Yeah. Because how can you have a system? Because you've got the Bank of England there, and then you've got a system where they aim to increase inflation in the country 2%. Like, what kind of fucking is that? Like, in the nation of Israel, when you had a monetary system, man. The Lord, gold and silver was gold and silver, man. You never read the scriptures and read about King Solomon making life more expensive for the average Israelite, man.
Changing metal. You hear about King Solomon making the metal less precious by mixing it with brass and shit. Mixing metal. He didn't do that. King Solomon dealt with what resources for where it actually was. He actually sent Hamite over there to the New World to grab resources for him, man.
Yeah.
To bring back so he can build his house in the temple, man. But he wasn't mixing metals and making it lesser and all that.
Yeah.
Creating false balances like these devils do. That's usually scriptures, man. Lord's against you.
Like I say, he didn't go to war unnecessarily as well, man. He made wise moves as a king so that Israel would be better off.
So that there was a wise. They didn't really so wise. So in the midst of them doing what they're doing, it's strange.
Oh, he gave his own damn military men depleted uranium bullets. And then they came back all sick, man.
He's not giving a shit about his soldiers.
Hey, we was watching like you say, that film, man, Kingsman, where I finally watched the last talking about it earlier on. But one of the things it showed you is, bro, them children, man, because that's what they were. Right, at first it was people of age, but then, basically it became to a point of, not really, because they're men, of course, but them young men, right, they were basically going out there in the trenches, and they just stand up, and then the whole line of them just get killed. Then the next one, and it was like, to what end? How did they progress?
So they're
expendable, man. What is GI, galvanized iron, man? A trash can, man. Jarhead,
man. It's expendable because you just meet They're meat puppets. You can just tell them what to do, and they'll just do it. They won't question shit. You know? They've been trained not to. If they do, they'll get court-martialed.
Yeah. Hey, because that's the first part of military training, right, from what I've heard. Right? Is it the first bit is just to break you into obedience.
Yeah, you can't question shit, man. You got to do what you've been told. The guy that's showing that movie, good memory, Jack Nicholson, those soldiers that murdered their man, their friend or whatever, you know, they just did it because they were commanded to. They didn't even think about the logistics of what they were doing, whether it was right or wrong. To them, they was told by their brother, get rid of, kill him and get rid of the body. And they just did it. After a while, it clicked into their mind that they're just being controlled like fucking meat puppets. They do wickedness, bro. That's why you're supposed to join those Edomite army, especially these damn queens. Fight for this damn thing. The same devil that, you know, put us through hardcore labor and slavery and all that. Colonize us the people. Want me to fight for our army. But what? Whose army? Whose army to go a rod? Drop in a fucking mine somewhere. You know? Trying to fight for these devils, man. They don't give a shit about you. They're expendable, man. Why you knucklehead niggas that want to join the army?
Yep.
That's all you, man.
And they put devices in nowadays, man.
Yeah, now they want you to take the chip.
Yeah. Because they even once again in that whenever you watch like Bond and all of that,
Yeah,
what do they have? Oh yeah, we can monitor his
we
can monitor his vitals.
Fuck that, man.
They were built in kill switches.
I'm saying you can't get me try straight away. So you just want to leave, you don't want to do the work though. They can send out a hit squad to take your ass out, man. If you're like one of them important soldiers. Like they show you in what's it called? Angels Falling, man.
Yeah.
You know, the black water and all that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're top soldiers in that.
Yeah.
You know, but once you want to leave the group and all that, they can just set you up and make you the full guy.
Yeah.
The next minute you're the number one fucking target. Enemy of the American state. You spend your whole life fighting for these devils. You know what I'm saying? You spend your whole life fighting for these devils, then they turn around to make you an enemy of the state, man. Track you down, trying to kill you. You don't want to play ball no more. That shows you, man.
Yeah.
Those armies are treacherous, man.
Beautiful. Suicide Squad is a good example.
Suicide Squad, all that shit.
Yeah, and they show you that, man. And of course, they had a black woman, the BP, Amanda Walker, in the movie, you know. Because at the end of the day, you're expendable, man. And of course, the bar always used to reference that YouTube documentary, all wars are bankers' wars. Because war is about making money. War is a profit, not making organization. Even those Edomites, those Edomites that go to those banks and then they do that bullshit when they sit on the ground and do themselves to the ground and protest. They know because banks, like all the UK banks are funding all of those big Lockheed Martins and Raytheons and all of these weapons companies, man. And then on top of that, those countries that then lose the war have to get loans out from the IMF for the rebuilding of this, man.
Yep. And the IMF give them conditions.
Any of those wars have ever fought for freedom. Bullshit that they told you.
Who's rebuilding Iraq? Halliburton was it? American company.
It was some Edomites in the back that are benefiting from all this disaster on the earth. Shows you that it's not about no damn freedom, man.
Hey, because when they dropped once again when they dropped 100 bombs on Libya that night, right? There was a 100 tomahawk made by Raytheon, I believe, and they average $800,000 US, $1.5 million each. So hey, Raytheon were good that night. They were good that night. That's $100 million off of one night operation, like.
Wars is like fighting on the stock market.
Yeah, bro.
The man that's looking at the numbers and like.
Yeah.
And all of that's not even accounting the fuel, the salaries of the soldiers, the fighters.
That's why they don't give a shit if they die in a war.
Yeah.
Because you just like, as long as the resources
the machinery
shit about.
He's probably the soldier himself, probably the cheapest in the whole operation.
Oh. When if a soldier, like say for example, like a fighter that get captured by another country, they don't really give a fuck if the soldier survives. They just want to get their
That's why it shows you how wicked these devils are. You know, you spend all that money in the weaponry and all that. That's what these Americans do. You know, even now, Biden's spending more money in the military and putting more money to send to Ukraine, even though they're saying that it's broke. But when it comes to the military, they always seem to have some sort of resources there to use. You know, but And what was
When
I
the
gonna say?
soldiers come back.
Yeah, when the soldiers come back, they don't look after them, man. They leave them for dead, man.
All that comes back.
Yeah. They leave their soldiers out there for the dirt, man. You know, claiming benefits or whatever, man. You know, suffering, man. When you spend all that money in the military, you get millions and millions for millions throughout these different conflicts and wars. The soldiers are suffering. It don't add up. It don't make no sense. The soldiers should be living well off.
Oh, bro. Especially with modern warfare, because that shit is shell shocking, brother. Like,
Yeah.
like,
It's life changing, man. And them guys are never the same again, man. Them guys are never the same. You go into a foreign country, invade a man's land, fighting a false war, you're down there murdering women and children, you know, pillaging the next man's land. You ain't sleep right at night. Coming back, whenever you do come back, whatever, your life's never going to be the same again because you're fighting a false war, man.
yeah. This is the book of Sirach 26 and 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by.
That's all them men do. So, man of war that suffer poverty. That's all they do. That's just the main thing, like, especially for these American, British, like, the armies and shit.
Yeah.
You gonna come back suffering, man. But they make it seem you're gonna be earning just per annum, and you're gonna be taken care of. But let you come back with missing limbs and all that, and see if they take care of you. You'll be on benefit for the rest of your life. Do it. Let me end up in the damn care home, ruling. Shit about
This is Proverbs. I've got two quick ones. Proverbs 13 and 11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. And this is Ecclesiastes 5 and 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This also is vanity. So that's what these devils are insatiable. They can't be satisfied with nothing. Like, and in the average Edomite's DNA, you might work for an Edomite, accomplish something amazing, make them pretty much a couple of grand overnight, and the next thing they want is, but how can you make me some more? That's an Edomite's nature. So you know, do something profitable for whatever institution you work for, that cost them a little bit of money, and you're getting called in for a disciplinary meeting like that. Fast. Because Edomites are fucking vengeful devils.
yeah.
And also on that, you know the one in the right which says if you have need of thee,
then
you will use it. Yeah. Right. Habakkuk 2. And I'm going to start from verse 5. From verse 4, it says, because behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in it. Let's talk about it. Soul ain't right.
You know, you want to fight the devil. He's false wars, man. You really see that he's putting those. There's a war breaking. You have to scratch your head and kick wide off.
Yeah.
What's the benefit? I don't just jump in and like, yeah. You know, jump on the bandwagon and shit. You don't even know what you're fighting for. You're fighting for the enemy.
The average sergeant makes 35 grand 853 a year.
Wow.
That's a sergeant, bro. The average corporal is 31,869. The large corporal is 27 grand 376, less than a cashier.
You're putting your life on the line with them.
Doing the security job.
Yeah, doing overtime. Wow.
35 grand.
What is your name have a, you know, your name ends up in a memorial.
Yeah, on the
And
wall.
left his
Yeah.
With a flower on the wall or whatever.
Hey, you damn fool for that.
Fuck that, man.
35 grand.
What, man? I ain't paid for his, man. That's stupid.
Yep. But the just shall live by his faith. Let's talk about it. Right? It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine.
Yeah, his philosophy, man. When you find out that war is part of his main philosophy, you know.
It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
And these devils not the proudest. That's why they got army bases around the four winds of the earth. You know, they go around occupying people's lands. They got garrisons. America's got garrisons in every part of the earth. Even places where you don't even understand. There's people probably not populated. They've got fucking garrisons, just in case. You know, that's how fucking spread thin these devils are. They're proud these devils are, man.
Hey, they got army bases here in the UK. But whatever happened to the special relationship? Why would you need a base in the UK?
Say wherever they got, you see, there's an embassy. They got a fucking army base there. Know that wherever they got an embassy, there's an army fucking recruited there, man. Bro, you know?
So,
And that's really there so they can spy on the nations, man. Espionage and all that. They can send out spies to spy on different leaders and see what's going on in other countries. That's why they're in everyone's fucking country. Embassy.
yep. It says, he is a problem that neither keepeth the whole, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
Like Britain invaded 100 and like 100 and about 170 countries. That is fuck, bro. Like, do you know how much effort, bro, it takes to go from America all the way to Australia?
Yeah. And like you're saying, this is back in the days of sailing.
Yeah,
you know, not even on like, the new tech.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. About 25% of them they actually managed to conquer, but if not, they've at least killed a couple of men and shed some blood on the.
It's about control.
Yeah. And all of these, when it comes to conquering, all of these Edomite nations, man. The Dutch did the same, right? Went down to South Africa, right? Then the Belgians did the same, right? Would you look at King Leopold going on and the atrocities he did in the Congo? Everyone talks about Hitler. But what about King Leopold, man? He was a mass murderer.
That's what I'm saying. And if these Edomites are righteous, like, I mean, no money is gonna save you anyway. But why have you not got a system where why are the Dutch not doing a similar thing and paying Congo reparations? Why is Britain stop paying Ghana, Nigeria, and reparations? Why is it that Amalek is getting however much thousands they're getting a month, but these so-called African countries are just just take out the textbook and forget about it.
That's it. Oh, Spain, King Philip. That's how you got the Philippines, right?
Yeah, man. Deep, bro. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why a lot of you Jacobs go, the Lord's gonna punish you because you got men from the apostles on down telling you that forget the African shit. Like, we're not African. We're the Israelites. Because like, at the end of the day, those African countries can't stand. They don't have no standing army. No, like, can you imagine the Ghanaian army fighting against, like, you know what I mean? They'll get slaughtered overnight. Like, they're more shit than the Metropolitan Police. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like, you can't take it seriously, man. We have no.
But even on that, that's why it's beautiful, because when we're out here prophesying to these nations that they're going down, right? They're looking at us like, how are you gonna take us down, right? But that's one thing they don't understand. It's not us that's taking us down. We're just telling you it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna be our big brother Yahweh Shai, right? He's gonna come back with the hosts of heaven, bro, the angels, right, and basically take down this place, man. Right? That's what the scripture says in Zephaniah, right? Wait ye upon me till I rise up to the prey.
And I say, bro, who said this man is the sword, yeah? Even with that bullshit movie happening over there in Ukraine, when they wanted to teach those Ukrainians how to use those weapons, the best soldiers, some of the best soldiers we got is the British, like the SAS soldiers. You know, Russia got some good soldiers as well, because they're Edomites also, but I think in America, of course. If you literally statistically look up which countries have the best soldiers, top 5, you're going to have America, Russia, and the UK, man. Because the UK has, even though they're not the strongest, they're not the largest army, they got some skilled devils, bro, that will kill you in a variety of different ways, bro. Because they're the men of the sword, true to the scriptures, bro. Like, you can't deny it. You can't deny it, bro.
Yeah. So, yes, finishing that off, it says, he will lodge his desires hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yeah, man, because look, like, we drove through certain parts of South London, right? And I know, but honestly, bro, like, you have, like, such disparity. Like, you have Edomites living, like, in areas of London that you wouldn't even think were London. Like, they actually look like Spanish villas, like, closed off security where you need passcodes and then another passcode to get in there. The security is different. And then the reason they able to live like that is because for over 400 years to this day, their great-granddad and their granddad and their fathers were fucking Jacob, man.
Yeah.
Just doing the most. That's why, like, today, Boris Johnson can get on TV and out of nowhere with 100 million. Yeah, 400, like, dedicated this much to fight Corona. We're going to send 80 million to Ukraine. We're going to do such and such. I'm throwing figures out there, but that's why they're able to do that because they had years and years and years.
They had a head start, taken by robbery. You know, these nations are guilty, man. But and in the same breath, right? Because you have that place, Holland Park, man, right? When you actually go to Holland Park, you can look up one road and you had the burnt out Grenfell Tower, but you're on Holland Park, right? A hella affluent part of London, but you're just looking out at a burnt out a high rise, man. Right, which that was probably a damn sacrifice anyway, but it's going to show you how this man, building wickedness, man.
And that's what I'm saying, man. Because like I was saying about like that area of London, you then have like boroughs like London, like what just yesterday, you had some wild jakes that basically some wild jakes that shot down some other jake in broad daylight. But that's obviously because Esau put those people in such a death state of deprivation person, but ultimately Esau put those people in such a state of deprivation that they have nothing to lose. They're probably better off being in prison and at least getting the prison food than being homeless and just having to beg for a living. That's the state that they are in, man. Completely fucked. Or people completely. Yeah.
You have to push those buttons.
Yeah. You had a call for Isaiah 19 earlier on. It says Isaiah 19:14, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof.
Yeah, that's why you got niggas out here walking around with fucking dresses. Right? Your chick is wearing trousers, man. It don't make no fucking sense, man. Like a straight opposite of switching the genders. Got a nigga wearing a vest, but then he's wearing a dress. The woman's wearing fucking trousers. It don't make no fucking sense, man. Who are you? It's a walking contradiction. You're supposed to be bad. You got always testicles. You got testicles, but now your woman is walking like she got testicles. You know?
Yeah.
But that's the ideology, spirit of wickedness, perverseness that Esau pushes, man. Because all this goes back to him. The reason why you got these alphabet motherfuckers out here doing what they're doing, you know, trannies and all these transformers and shit doing what they're doing. It's because of Esau, man.
Yeah.
Because he's pushing that vibration out there. You can do as thy will. You'll be as free as you want. You know, worship Satan openly. All that bullshit.
I was reading something earlier on the socials where based one individual in the States was recounting the story about how when they were in like some university situation, right? One of the students basically saying in defense of a pedophile, right? And then basically saying how with the, as a member of the, the alphabet community, right, I can't, look down on someone for loving someone that they have no control over loving, right? So basically that alphabet crew is being used as a way to shoehorn in pedophilia, man, right? Because once again, it ain't no mistake that they allow the whole Prince Andrew thing to come out, right? That wasn't because this is the thing. We understand that these people get freaky and nasty and do hella sadistic things behind the scenes, but we never hear about those things officially. So how is it that we heard about the whole Andrew thing? How is it that we Ketanji Jackson, the Supreme Court nominee? How comes we heard about her things about allowing for being lenient on child sex offenders, right? All of these different things aren't coincidence, and these things are done on purpose. Yeah, conditioning. That's it. Says so. It's Isaiah 19:14 again. So the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
Yeah, so on all levels, this place is totally defiled and wicked, man. It's just a amalgamation of sorcery, witchcraft at the highest level, man. Nowhere you go in the society is that you're going to find anything righteous. That's why I posted the Barbie sit down every day. Say you want to make this society, you're going to have to be wicked, man. It don't matter what industry it is, sports, music, whatever industry, business, banking, whatever industry it is, man. If you want to make it, you're going to have to be wicked, man. You have to sell your soul, man. You have to become one of these degenerates, man. You know, you have to do all these lascivious things, man. You have to be part of this party. no way you're going to be outside of the circle. It's
Yeah.
not going to go down. They'll just blacklist you. They'll just stop your money from coming in.
Yeah.
You're not part of the club. You have to become part of the club. How do you do
Yeah.
that? You got to sell your soul majority of the time. You got to do
Yeah.
things against your that's against nature.
Yeah.
You got to compromise yourself. Your integrity, man. You know, that's the only way you make it in this society, man. That's why you got a lot of these celebrities bugging the fuck out because they're not sleeping right. They're not sleeping right at night with the things they have to do to make their wealth. They know they did wickedness, man.
This is Jeremiah 2:33. It says, "Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways."
Yeah, man, so fuck the society. That's why the Lord said to be content
Mm-hmm.
with your daily bread, man.
Yep.
You know, not wanting too much.
Yep.
You know, just not seeking, the uncertain riches and all that, man.
Yeah.
Because that shit ain't gonna deliver you in the time of Jacob's trouble. All that shit's gonna catch up wings and fly away.
Yeah.
Your riches ain't gonna be able to deliver you. So what's all that selling out? Your back, and all that shit for, man. Compromise yourself for this false reality.
So I was bringing that one up because Britain said that one of the things reference, it's in the business world. When Jake gets up into the business world, I'm sure you've seen it, bro. When Jake is all up in them offices and all of that, they start becoming Edomites, man.
Yeah.
They start, eating their meat bloody, right? They start, I don't really know Jake out like that have taken the juicy juice, but the ones that I do know were Jakes that work in that world, man. Right? Why? Because they've seen a certain life and they're willing to do anything to maintain it, right? And they think following and doing that. But also it reminded me of something. You have that adult entertainer, Lex Steele, whatever that nigga's name was, Lex Steele. He was actually a Citibank before he got into business, right? And basically, how did they find him? Right? How did them Amalekites, because they're the ones that run that industry, right? They found him because he was in a fucking orgy, man. Right? In that business world. So when Jake is all up in that business world, they start really following and start becoming start doing the things that Edomites. Yeah.
But I ain't going to live the time to come, man. Jacob trouble and army of this. You niggas gonna get caught up in that. So they're saying, man. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it for these little consolation prizes you niggas get when you got something far greater in the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's coming, man. You're gonna own crops of land, everything in the farm. You're gonna own people, man. You're gonna own slaves. That's not the real term in self-employed. You're gonna be in the kingdom of heaven. You're not gonna be working for no one. You're gonna be working for your damn self-fulfilled. You're gonna be a king. You're gonna be
well, I think
sovereign.
Yeah, you're gonna be a sovereign, man. You're gonna own land and all of that. You don't have to, report to any fucking Edomites in the kingdom of heaven.
That's right. And if like I say, it's gonna be easy, right?
Yeah.
Because in terms of when you're, what was it, your 10%, bam. Okay, I had 100 sheets, which you're gonna have more than 100. Keep your 10, and that's it. I have 100 silver coins. Here's 10. That's it in Esau's law, and that's one thing that trips Jake up all the time, right? Because in Esau's law, it's like, okay, cool, the tax from this bit to that bit is this much, right? But actually, X amount of it is is not taxable. But then after that point, you then have to start paying that much. And you're just there all hella confused. Like,
and then the end of the people,
that's it. And then because people talking about Jake trying to be self-employed, one of the things that gets Jake all the damn time is taxes, man. Right? Look at Wesley. Ask Wesley. Ask what's that bald head nigga, man, in Hollywood that does Steve Harvey. Right? Ask Steve Harvey. Right? He basically was saying that he had to pay back taxes to the IRS whilst paying his current taxes. You would think like they would come to some kind of agreement, like, yo, guys. That's it. That's it. That's a damn shame, man. That was it on Isaiah 19.
Quick one. The book of Obadiah, the third chapter, third verse. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high. that saith in his heart, he shall bring me down to the ground. Because these devils are like, they believe that, they honestly believe they're untouchable. If you ever take a trip down to the city or like, the banking district down to Canary Wharf, and you see the average Edomite down there, they sincerely believe that like they're invincible. Even in the like, and you know how you see that powerful spirit in them. It could be the middle of winter, snow in December, but the business suit will stay on with no jacket. They'll be out because they literally that image has to be maintained. That suit with the shiny shoes, that has to be maintained. The Agent Smith kind of look, and that's what these devils believe that they're gonna be able to carry forward, man. But the Lord's gonna break them down because at the end of the day, and Ezekiel the 36 chapter, the Lord said that when Israel walk back into the land, that everything's going to be beautified again. In Ezekiel, it also tells us that David will rule over us. Even if you take like a real quick, I found this and just on the point you was making. Like, if you want to take the Ten Commandments as a basic foundation, everyone knows the Ten Commandments. But like you look at basic things, like even the Sabbath day, which is the fourth commandment, that's not being maintained, which shows you those small hats are evidently not the people, man, because the scripture tells us that everyone would be observing. So there would be at least a dedicated day where every shop across the earth would shut, no one would trade. Like, but this shows you the earth is not under a right leadership, man. So all of these scoffers, like people that even, apostles were talking about being on fire for the truth is true, man, because this is hell, man. This is fucked up. Like, this is not a right thing.
What's in them?
But he evidently is hell, but you can't deny that this is hell, bro.
You can't get rid of that out of your mind anyway. Not in the back of your mind, it's supposed to be there. If you know that it's bullshit, what you going back to?
Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart.
I want to say, just even on the point that I just made there, it shows you that the Lord has really blinded certain people from understanding the truth. Because I can make a statement among brothers and say, yo, the Lord said that when Israel's in power, everyone's going to be ruled following the laws of Israel. Then I'll give an example, like I just did of the fourth commandment. Everyone's going to follow the Sabbath day. And then your mind will flip. Everyone will keep the Sabbath day. Everyone's not keeping the Sabbath day. Therefore, the real people of the Lord are not in power. Yep. But you will make that same statement to a Christian. And they, because the Lord has blocked certain people from getting it, man. And that's why they're not mad, because at the end of the day, that saying ignorance, they're just all like, yeah, well, like, you say that to a Christian and they'll start, trying to logicalize it in their head on some, yeah, but I mean, we're part of the nation, so
before you get that, I'm interested on what you says. Romans 11:7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest blind.
That's all we get to explain it. Isaiah 2:1. The word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass that in the last days that the mountains of the Lord Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
And all these nations, like, living under their guide, Horse Valley, but each God says the Bible saying Christians really don't attend to none of the law, statutes, and judgments of the Lord. But they put their hand on the Bible and swear in their presidents and that bullshit. They don't believe in the Bible. They just turn to the penal code. That's their law, statutes, and judgments. Fucking penal code. In the kingdom of heaven, all these nations are going to have no church but accept law, statutes, and judgments of power of our God. So they're going to receive no rape. They're going to receive more hell than they already received. Right? They're going to have a fucking choice in the matter. Right? That's going to be the standard. That's going to be the standard in the kingdom of heaven. Law, statutes, and judgments. All 630 laws. They're going to have to be observed by us and other nations, right?
And I say that goes into basic things, man. Like rulership. We just had, like, I had fucking Labour knocking on my door, talking about going to vote for your constituency. You ain't gonna have that in the kingdom. The Lord's gonna have the 144,000 men, and there's gonna be a rulership system, and there's not gonna be a voting system in Israel to replace one of the 144,000. They're cemented forever. You know what I mean?
Roman bullshit, voting system, like that. Gods that we worship, all that stuff. That goes into all their politics. That shit ain't gonna do. All that stuff is gonna get destroyed on this side, man. Ain't gonna be no democracy in the kingdom of heaven. It's gonna be unstoppable. It's the best move. the best rule with the children of Israel. We know how to maintain the balance of the earth. The Lord made us a nation to be a true leaders that maintain the balance of the earth. Yeah? These devils don't know about balance. That's why they fucking up in the earth.
That goes back to the original point we made, man, that, hey, man, that's why in every nation there's been a significant change in leadership in some shape or form, because at the end of the day, our people, man, are naturally born for leadership. That's why Joseph came on the scene and he told Pharaoh, yo, stack some grain, but you're going to need it. And he led the operation, you know?
Back your nights, back both points. That's because the Lord was dealing with Joseph, and just like in the kingdom, the Lord is dealing with. Is going to be dealing with us, and that's what's going to make us the right. Because you've had all of these other heathen nations attempt at rulership. The Lord allowed all of these nations to attempt, and they all failed horribly. Why? Because they haven't got the Lord in their hearts. I've got one real quick. This is Sirach 10:4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Right, and that's it. Like, back up front, brother mate, right? It's about having the right ruler in rulership. Right, and that's the only one profitable to rule the earth, right? Is
what earth was made for.
Exactly. Hey, scripture says all things are made for him and by him. Right, we're going to be joint rulers.
When Adam was on the earth, he didn't pollute the waters and shit like that. Adam was naming the animals. He was living off the land, doing what they were supposed to do. He had children, all of that, man. He went going around polluting the air, polluting the waters and shit like that. It was Eve that come with that, the feminist movement, man. She was the one that was going on. She got beguiled by the serpent, which is the spirit of Esau, even today, the devil, to follow the ways of the other nations, man. That feminist spirit, following the ways of the Hebrew, worshiping their gods. Adam was in his right mind. He wasn't polluting him. He was doing what he was supposed to. He was managing the earth. He knew what his purpose was, man. We're going to go back to that same like-minded state that Adam was, man. We're going to be made that basically 144,000 Adam. More, man. In a righteous spirit. Before Eve beguiled him, man. We're going to go back to that in the garden. We ain't going to be fucking, this time the women ain't going to be able to fucking deceive us. Just making us go up and following the ways of other nations, worshiping their gods. We ain't going to do that, though.
Hey, because she going to be in her right mind as well.
Yeah, man. I don't know her position and stay there, man. Trying to usurp authority and trying to, set up her own systems and shit like that.
Yeah, her systems are household. She might manage your house. That's it. Yeah. But if the man comes and says, "No, I want you to do it this way," she'll be like, "Yes, sir. Yes, my lord." Exactly. Can't other one, yeah. That's it.
Be an equal. Also equality.
That's it. Hey.
Society.
Yeah, and the point that we've made, several times, it's like when you have a business, you don't have two rulers in the business. Man. You may have a co-founder, but guess what? Even amongst the co-founders, you have one that has more say than the other, right? Why? Because at the end of the day, there's only. I remember, guys, burn off now, right? But the one that the Lord, used to bring, a couple of brothers in this camp and true. Right, he made a statement once, and it was a true statement. It was like anything with two heads is usually a monster, man. Right? So if you got a household with two heads, both mom and dad are both ruling, you got chaos, and that's why these houses and households end up as chaos. But even then, them people that say they're equal, what do they say? They'll say, "Oh, she wears the pants." Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
I'm gonna fuck with this. That's why, hey man. What, how many times in the scriptures that when you're speaking in reference to men, you put your house in order, or I'll first let me go put my house in order, because it's the man's responsibility to lead the family, man. But yeah, have you got family? That's it. The book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter, and I'll start from the top. Behold, the Lord Jehovah maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Jehovah has spoken his word.
Totally founded in wickedness, man. There's no moral. The moral side is totally decayed, man. That's why you got men walking around with dresses. There's no moral fiber, no moral standards in this place no more.
Yeah.
That shit is broken down. Basic bare minimum. The righteousness is seen as wickedness, man. Seen as toxic. Being evil, wicked is seen as good.
Yeah. Hey, because even though this whole abortion debate, right? You know, they keep bringing up, oh, it's religion, it's not your, can't use your religion. Same thing with this whole Kendrick Lamar thing, right? And his, you know, that song that he made about his tranny aunt, right? You basically speaking to people in the comments are like, oh yeah, but you can't let religion and this, that, and the other, right? But hey, without, you know, without a guidance, people go wild, man. They do things that aren't me, right? They do things that aren't good, man, right? For their own damn soul. Yeah. Just like with a child, you leave a child to their own devices. That's it.
That's what this whole society is making willful. Do whatever you want. There's no limitation. That breeds chaos. That's why the statute, everyone hates the law, statute of judgment, because it sets limitations on what you do.
Yeah. But for your own good.
Exactly. Better society.
That's
just
it.
like it's lawful to eat certain things and unlawful to eat certain things, because it will breed disease. Right?
Yeah.
Cancers. Yeah. People just think because it tastes good, I should be able to just eat it. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, and it's a demon on you that makes you think it tastes good.
But like I say, like we spoke about abortion, bro, it's not a natural process. Because you know what, like, if abortion was supposed to be like wasn't a wicked thing, the Lord like for example, yeah, like the Lord gave a reason why women have birth pains, right? In Genesis the third chapter and the 16th verse, it says, "Hey, unto your husband, you know, you shall basically you shall give honor to your husband, and you know, in pain you shall conceive." If abortion was not necessarily a bad thing, there would be a natural way for you to pretty much to carry that procedure out. But the Lord has made it to where, ultimately speaking, this devil has come up with a wicked way where they stick that device up your vagina. And then even when you go on the NHS website, it tells you possible complications of baby parts remaining in your body. Like, do you know what I mean? Damage to your womb. It tells you sepsis. So they're basically telling you we're doing something against nature and we're doing the best that we can to not damage you by doing it. They're telling you can get sepsis from an abortion, internal bleeding, fucking. But they're like, so we can't give it right. But the Heavenly Father didn't give you that right. That's why it's such a difficult medical procedure.
Yeah, but I did. Because you know what it is. I know I know brothers will use that phrase, they go to a graveyard because of pussy, but that's an actual graveyard.
Bro,
actual graveyard.
It actually tells you, bro, needing another procedure to remove parts of the surgery that have stayed in the womb. Like, you actually have to then go get another secondary, just to, like, it's fucked. That's why it's not natural. It's got another baby passing through, and then there's dead body parts. So the baby passing through a fucking graveyard before it's even literally comes to earth, bro. It's fucked. Injury to the womb or cervix tells you, wow, it's fucked. Very heavy bleeding. 10 out of 100 women. What ratio is that, bro? Like, that's 10%, bro. Very heavy bleeding. What?
This is Isaiah 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
Yeah, so that's why it's the women that's cheering on the abortion. They're the ones cheering it on because they don't want to see. Basically, they want to divulge themselves to don't have to do. Being important, huh? You know, women out here that got kids that rather keep their kids out there in the middle of the street so they can go to a party and rape. Because they want to involve themselves in it. You was made for bad kids. You was meant to look after those damn kids, man. You're supposed to see kids out there doing their own thing. You're supposed to look up, man the household, man your own kids. Yeah. feed them, man. Nourish them. That's the whole point of being a mother, man. So these women absolving themselves from that duty and making excuses why, it's my choice. And it's your fucking choice. Don't put that baby in your system for a reason.
It ain't your body.
Exactly, man. That baby that you're killing ain't your baby either.
Yeah.
It's the Lord. The Lord put that spirit in your body.
Yeah.
And really, you're killing one of the specimens of the Lord.
Really, in that, if I could say, in that whole thing, you're the third most important because it's the most high. You got Yahweh Shai. Then it's your man.
Yeah.
And then it's you. Right. So you ain't got no saying what, because what you think about the naming of the child, right? Whatever have you. Ultimately, it's the man that gets the final say. Right.
It's his life in you.
It's his life that's been put in. Yeah.
Yeah, just real quick, just got to read this. It says they claim it's a small risk, but that's the devil being the devil. There's a risk to your fertility and future pregnancies.
Yep.
If you develop a womb infection that is not treated quickly, the infection could spread to your fallopian tubes and ovaries, known as pelvic inflammatory disease, short for PID. PID can increase the risk of infertility or ectopic pregnancy, where an egg implants itself outside of the womb.
That's why most have so many abortions. It's fucked up the whole room.
Yeah, and even before the abortion, if I could say, you have certain chicks that'll take the pill endlessly, and then when they take when they come off the pill, they, for instance, their what's this thing, their periods can't come, and then they have troubles with all of that, man. What, because it's all unnatural, man.
Fucked up the cycle.
I believe he had another last verse was there before.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's 3.5.
Yeah. So that's the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken his word.
So this place needs to be wasted. There's nothing, as we've been saying, there's nothing left for this place but the nuclear mission. Sweep this place. The cleanses, that's the only real cleansing agent, man. Because this place is totally defiled, man. People's minds are defiled, everything is fucked. Man. So this place needs to be wiped out. Revamped.
It says, the earth mourneth in faithful way, the world languisheth in faithful way, the haughty people of the earth do languish.
Proud people are proud. People just do what they want. That's why the Lord said, these same proud people will catch hell in these last days.
Yeah.
Because of the pride of the people to seek trouble, man.
Yeah.
These people will be catching all the time hell
Yeah.
like never before. Since you think it's so big and bad, you do not have to abide by the law, statutes, and judgments. Let's see, man. No hell breaks loose. Woman, people, told you that limitations that woman, make a woman was sucking her own child, man. Boiling her own kid down pot to eat. That's how you really going to be living in these last days, man. Just proud heifers, man. You're going to be sodding your own children in down pot. With fucking salt and pepper. Yeah, and then you're going to be boiling that shit to eat. You want to say something?
No, I was just going to say, a lot of these women, even in their 30s, are physically unable as well, very weak in the body, like literally all kind of different ailments. Like when our parents were our age, in their 30s, my mother was strong, like walk for miles. Literally, I would prefer to walk than use a vehicle. The average Jake woman now, like if they're not driving somewhere, like all kind of ankle aches, back problems, like because of the fact that ultimately speaking, man, these age, yeah. And they what they want on themselves.
Yeah.
67, 8, he was at least better back then.
And he went
More nutrition. Over time, he found ways to get rid of the nutritional value.
Yeah.
Because people fucking plastic.
But yeah, poison you with the drugs.
So it was chicken, it's not fucking chicken.
Yeah. Well, even for us, now that they've done like graphs of like how many jabs children would get back in the day, and then in comparison to now, you're getting tons now.
Yeah.
Showers got 80.
Oh yeah, you remember those times? Yeah.
Showers got short span, short attention span. Short.
Oh, I remember the older brother in the car. He kind of went into like the cartoons and like the pacing of the cartoon, like how back in the day cartoons were like this, that, and the other. Whereas now they're all like this, all moving like this, and basically going into how that is affecting affects you. Yeah. And then also these children now have all grown up with digital screens. That digital screens, they're bad for your attention span. Huh? Right there, you be seeing like a child, what do you call it? He'll be in the prime with a fucking iPad. You got a lot of iPad babies.
No more Barbies and Ken. It's all digital PS5s and all this shit.
Yeah. It says
That shit ain't cheap either. Shit costs money.
Yeah. And if I can say, the back in the day, at least with the consoles, they were designed to have your friends around, right? So you'd be getting that human interaction with your friends. But nowadays, it's all online. I was amazed. All of the games now, back in the days, you'd have like split screen multiplayer.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you don't even have, like, a lot of games don't have split screen multiplayer. It's all online. So it's all, I'm going to go to my room and just behind that screen, not even having interaction. Yeah. But like, I meant more like in a physical way. You have your friends around, because then what, you play FIFA and then you go outside and kick ball. Yeah.
That shit, play areas, they don't even do that shit unless they really have to.
Yeah.
They don't even use those areas. Social media.
Says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
So that's why everything's upside down the way it is. The earth has been in the hands of the wicked, right? And he does not know how to rule justly. It says that the wicked in place of righteousness, the wicked shall do wickedness. Roughly paraphrasing. They don't know how to do justice. They don't know how to make sure everything's balanced. All they know how to do is create imbalance.
Yeah.
And to destroy, seeking to destroy. Right? Yeah. They don't know how to maintain harmony. Yeah. Even if they did, that's not going to be, they don't feel right doing it. They have to, do what they were intended to do. To be a self-destructive force. You have to destroy shit. That's just in their nature.
Yeah, like, where you're supposed to, even when you're supposed to forgive men 7 years, every 7 years, you're supposed to forgive every Israelite his after his death. Like, you had this article, a video on it. You had this one Jacob, and of course, modern day Jacob, she was living on £140 a month. Like, this is a month, which is £5 a week, because she put herself in a position where she had no man, so she had to take an advance of her from the Department of Work and Pension, and then they started to withdraw from her benefits as she got it. But she had to do that 5-week wait. She had to get like they take tax as well. Yeah, bro. So she's living on the equivalent of £5 a day, bro. And this is what I'm saying. That's the average black woman out here on benefits. So that shit is gonna. That's why you gay women are fucked, man. And really, all of you women out here, ultimately.
Yeah, that goes into Isaiah 32nd chapter, 9th verse. Speaking about how they shall lament the teach the good times, right, the good stuff, and that's how Esau's really put people in a what is this? He's trapped people in a quagmire, right? Because when you're a single mom of two gremlins, right, and then they say, oh, actually, to continue getting those benefits, you need to take the MOTB, right? All of that. Guess what? You're gonna have them individuals are gonna take it because they're like, well, my kids need to eat. I need to eat. I need to pay my rent. I don't want to be homeless, right? So, and that's basically what Esau's doing. He's laying it snare. That's it. Because when he starts bringing in this UBR, this universal basic income, it's going to be part of that snare because people are going to go to it, but then he's going to start putting a stipulation with it.
It says, and therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate.
Curse, right? This ain't no blessed curse, right? That's always mentioned in the land of Israel. That land's cursed right now. You're the wicked over there. It's defiling the Lord's land. That's the Lord's present favorite piece of land in the whole earth. The garden that was eastward of Edom. That's the Lord's. He had some Edomites come out the other day. He got one people Instagram page begin to end whatever with black conspiracy and like channel. He does like certain videos that are great regarding the conspiracy theory, but then he tried to do a video breakdown of the Garden of Eden. And guess what he said it was? Zimbabwe.
Oh shit!
He's devil, man. Just trying to avoid the Middle East. You know, the actual fertile question where actually was.
That's what it is.
But
You know,
yeah,
tried to say it's in Zimbabwe.
the Euphrates, Zimbabwe is nowhere near the
Exactly,
Euphrates.
with the four main rivers, man. The Gihon and all that,
Yeah.
the Red Sea,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
River Nile, and all that, Euphrates and Tigris. Those four bounds of water, that's where the fertile crescent is, the Middle East. That has got nothing to do with the land of Ham, the Zimbabwe. You tried to sit and show a map and then some Hamite and a greenery over there. You say that's the land, that's the part of the Eden. That's off for you. You shouldn't say anything but what it actually is, man. Because he's the devil, man. You don't want the truth to come out. The truth is out, man.
Hey, but that's what, for instance, when you say that, I'm thinking about Hosea 46, about people being knowledge. Because our people, they're easy to sway. You get Jake that will
Because the James thought the cradle of civilization was Africa in the first place. So he's not this guy coming saying, it's founded in Zimbabwe. That's the Garden of Eden. They'll be like, oh yeah, of course, it makes sense.
because it was the
What's that one? The National Explorer.
National Geographic.
That's what broke Africa. Oh, shit. Get polite, like, yeah, man.
No, it's not, man. It's in the Middle East. Man. The breakdown in the scriptures, man. It's bound around the four rivers, man. That's the Lord's pleasant land over there, the fertile. That's where Abraham traveled from the the Chaldees, like the land of Babylon, ancient Babylon, over there in Iraq, those lands. And he traveled upwards, man. Upwards and leftwards into the promised land. The Lord showed him the promised land. What the fuck you think about that? Abraham went into Egypt, but he didn't say the Lord made him say, the promised land was in the land of Ham. It wasn't in the land of Ham, man. You guys want to concentrate on Africa, Babylon, and that. First, Babylon weren't even in the land of Ham. How about that? It was in the land of Iraq, the Chaldees, and all that, man.
That's right. And it's all right. Hey, man, we're going to go back to that. Because if I can say as well, when we left Egypt, Egypt before the Lord took it down was good. But then ultimately speaking, we even had to take gold from them. That's the stuff, bro.
Land of Garden of Eden is not in the Zimbabwe. You know, I watched one video and they said that it's Zimbabwe. Termite.
Right.
Like it's like
delicacy.
Like it's delicacy. We're thinking about it, roots and the like the termite hills. Sell it. Like, come on, man. That's what the garden is. Off, right?
Because it's the thing, the Lord, made it such that the name of the Euphrates never changed.
It hasn't changed, bro. It's in the same place. Gihon, the Red Sea, that's still there. River Nile, that's still there, man. You know, Tigris, that's still there. That's still there. It's in the same place, man. It hasn't changed, man.
Well, the spiritual name, the Euphrates, looked it up just real quick. From the old Persian Euphrates, which means good to cross over. Like, you know what I mean? Like look at that. That was every experience.
Africa's dead, man. You know, took us out of Africa, brought us into the promised land. How about that? That's why the ancient Egyptians, man. That's the truth, man.
You took them gold and everything, but blessed them with dead sons to bury, man.
Galatians 1:26. That's the mother of the school. You know, damn Africa, man.
So I'm going to say people throughout history have always built civilizations and places of plenty. Right? That's why a lot of cities are built where ports. Because you had your water there, you come in and you basically build from that. Right? So why do you think, I'm saying that to say this, why do you think a lot of the early civilizations were up in that cradle? They were up in that cradle because that was where it was good to dwell. That's where the industry was prosperous. Like friends, you get them fucking hammers that will just live in the middle of fucking nowhere, and then they, I have to, travel so long to get water. So how about you just move to near water, man?
Even the Hamites had the Holy Land for a certain amount of time. In Canaan, they was in the Holy Land for a hot minute. And they was doing odious works, man. They was messing around with the Lord's land. So we got rid of them. Got them out of that land, man. That's the little cradle of civilization, man. You know, damn Africa, man.
But to dwell in that land, there's stipulations and rules, man, and that's why the Lord set lives amongst the heathen because they
about they're the people of the Lord. The Lord was like, okay, we'll send them lions amongst them whilst carrying their asses up.
Yeah. And this time around, the Lord is going to send arrows. So those arrows will be nuclear arrows.
Black lions as well.
And they do hurt.
Very much so.
We're going to cleanse the whole land. That land is a website. We're showing adverts and shit like that. Come visit Israel. There's some Amalekites school at where we're male or female advertising why you should come to Israel.
Yeah.
That place is what land of holy land. That place is wild, man. All kinds of peoples up in there. Do what they want. We're going to cleanse that land first, man. And we're going to clean the waters, like the scripture says, the waters going to be defiled, wormwood and all that. Therefore, that's going to be uninhabited.
Yeah.
But over there in Israel, we're going to cleanse the water quick. Because we're going to have spiritual power. We're going to get certain brooks and cleanse the water, do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be drinkable local.
Yeah.
You know? We're going to mess people. We're going to get people. Small hats, man. You're in for a beating. Small hats, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Not in for a straight up hardcore holy beating, man. 1,000 years straight, man. No mercy. You devils have done so much. You act like you ain't done nothing wrong.
Galatians 4:26, for Jerusalem which is above is free, which is the mother of us all.
Jerusalem, man, the city of peace.
Shalom.
Shalom. Well, the city of peace, that place ain't a city of peace, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of conflict going on in that land. Gaza Strip and all that. Man, all these guys stadiums throwing rocks and all this other stuff and they're raining back and forth. All these times they've been saying they're going to settle the land and split the land for years, man. They still ain't been able to come to some sort of agreement.
Yeah.
Why? Because that land is not a city of peace right now.
Yeah.
They're not the true inhabitants, right?
Yeah.
Some heathens in the land, man.
Yeah, bro. I was about to say, there ain't no, in Revelation 7, they don't mention nothing about no Palestinians or no Gaza Strip. It tells you the 4,000 of tribe, man.
Don't come trying to say it's not the 12 tribes of Israel. It's just people that's going to wake up.
What the
That's
hell?
because you're not included in that number, man. You're not an Israelite. You're going to say some shit.
Reset real quick. It says, Revelation 7:3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
It tells you right there, all the tribes of the children of Israel. What are you talking about? Both tribes. Because you're not included in that number. Because you know, deep down, you're a fucking Edomite.
Yeah.
You're an Amalekite, man. You're a riser.
Rise up!
Destined for destruction. You're asked to down in slavery. Rest of the German country. You're not a Jake. You're blind to go back to Britain. You know, you're free, man. You're down in slavery. That's just what it is, man. We had to go into slavery. So you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to deal with it. Now we had to deal with it. We didn't want to go into slavery. We had to deal with it, man. Now you're not gonna go into slavery after all the shit your people have done. The Lord said he's not a respectful person. If one of you going, all of you are going.
Oh, I appreciate it. This is on the flip side of that. Genesis 49:28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And that is it, that their father spake unto them and blessed them, everyone according to his blessing. He blessed them. And when you read Genesis 49, every single tribe has a blessing that bestowed onto them, and it even speaks onto the last thing. So they all got to come back and fulfill that, man. And there's a vibration in numbers also. That's why even among 12, when Judas did what he did, and you know, the Lord took them out, there had to be somebody to fill in the 12th slot, because ultimately speaking, the Lord maintains things in vibrations, man.
Yeah, it was a spirit as well, because earlier on, you had mentioned the 144,000, the clock that literally set for 1 hour 44.
Yeah, look at that.
I was like, oh shit. But, you know, brother was in, you know, moment, but.
Usually, like Apostle Elder Gabar said the other day, he's reading somewhere, it says, when you see certain close numbers, you know, that means like babies are quite close.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you got demonic numbers, like you use the demonic numbers on the left-hand side, you can set certain realms, space around yourself. It's like you the flip side, the balance. You know, so that's true, man. You know, and that's what I'm trying to be in that spiritual realm, man, of righteousness, man.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to dwell in it. That's what's coming up. That's gonna take that vibration will take over the whole earth. We're living under a weak vibration, man. The whole earth will be involved.
Yeah.
In unrighteousness because this is the earth we're giving into the hand of Satan. This is Satan's world right now. That's why he even tempted the Lord. He even tried to persuade the Lord, saying, look, bow down to the kingdom. You know, the Lord knew that. Come on, hey, you are. You can't tell me what you're going to give me. That's crazy, man. Get back behind these Satan. You know, don't serve you. How about Shimon and Shai? You know, he knew he was going to receive the kingdom anyway. That was the whole purpose of the Lord creating the whole heavens and the earth. Don't forget, the Lord was there from the beginning with the Father, man. He is the Word, man. He was the first to create. So he created everything. He knew he was going to rule it in the end anyway. And he just basically built his own, like, what his kingdom wanted, his kingdom to look like. What animals he wanted and stuff. This is everything on the earth is the Lord, man.
Colossians 1:16, for by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions, or principalities, or powers, all things were created by him and for
Satan has to bow down to the Lord.
All
them demons and whatever demon it is, they have to take orders. How about Shimon and Shai? He created all those things, right? The Lord ain't going to bow down to the thing that he created. That don't make no sense.
Yeah. Hey, that's why we read in Surah 39:28, right? He appeased the wrath of him that made him, huh? Demons, all of that.
Man.
Yeah.
You got some top level demons out there, but they're not hiding the Lord. Don't forget, as in the ancient world, they used to put the Heavenly Father terrible demon like power. So you don't want to talk about top demonic power. That's controlled by the Heavenly Father on the left hand side.
Oh, you look at Satan. Satan wasn't allowed to do more to Job than Yahweh allowed him to.
Yeah. So who else with the real power? Who can really be like on that level if you really wanted to be? It's the Father, man. Yeah. Not Satan. Satan's just a whooping stick, man.
It's like
an errand boy.
Yeah. It's like if you want to look at it like this, it's like Jacob and Esau. The Lord is basically giving the Lord is basically giving Esau the power right now, but he's not stronger than Jacob. Yeah. He's just been given the power for a season, and us, we've been.
That's why in Revelations, when you read the book of Revelations, it told you about the elders in heaven casting their phones down to Yahweh Shai. There ain't no ceremony like that for Satan. Yahweh Shai. Yeah. And there ain't no ceremony like that mentioned for the spiritual demon Satan, because ultimately Yahweh Shai is the second in command of God. Thou art the Lamb that was.
Same ones that was when he went to heaven.
Yeah.
Those are the same elders that bow down and worship Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
That shows you even the angels have to bow down and worship. How much more us on the earth?
Yeah.
You got niggas out here in the world talking about you don't have to worship the Lord. You guys are in for fucking Luke, what was that? Luke, bring here, hither.
Yeah.
Stay in the front. You don't repent. You don't be in danger back.
Yeah.
You don't cut a lot of people's heads off that don't want them to worship. You know?
Well,
you don't slay a lot of chicks that don't want to bow down and worship. Yeah. That's the Lord, right? That's the true King of Kings and Lord of Lords. How you don't dare try to say you don't worship the Lord? He's the Savior of our nation. You don't get your head chopped off, man. You look like that. Sword style, Excalibur style.
You've got something. So Luke 19:27, it says, but those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them.
So there's a lot of guys who don't fall into that condemnation, talking shit against the Lord.
One quick one. This is the book of Ephesians, the first chapter, verse 19. And what is the exceeding greatness of his power to usward who believe, according to the working of his mighty power, which he wrought in Mashiach, Yahushua, when he raised him from the dead and set him at his own right hand in heavenly places, far above all principality and power and might and dominion and every name that is named, not only in this world, but also in that which is to come, and have put all things under his feet, and gave him to be the head over all things to the church.
That's why every father came down and said, look, man, this is my son of both feet. Worship him, man. Time of transfiguration. Because you had certain great men, you had the transfiguration with Moses and Elijah, where the Lord was there. The Heavenly Father showed himself and looked at this man, this is my guy, man. This is my right hand man right here. And he sits on the right hand side of the Father in the heavens, man, above all other principalities. You kind of level of power that is. It's under the heavenly Father. You know what kind of power that is.
Yeah.
You're gonna try and talk shit. You have no idea you're playing with, man. You have no idea, man. This is the Lord, man. Yeah. He's coming back. He's been here since the beginning, man. He's been here many a times, man. He was there in the time of ancient Egypt in the chariot. Came as Melchizedek. He's been here many times, man. Been there since the beginning with the first Adam. The first Adam, man. When the Lord returns, man, he's not saying. That's why when the Lord returns, this whole earth is gonna fucking shake. This whole earth is gonna shake, man. You don't know it's the Lord.
Yeah. John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Right, so that's talking about Yahweh Shai. Right, and in fact, that verse in verse 3 proves that's what we just read in Colossians 1:16.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh.
I was going to say, so Yahweh Shai was there from the beginning, through the brother's point.
Yeah, good one. Revelation 3:21. Unto usward, it says, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit even with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne.
Yeah. He just a joint heir, the Lord's kingdom. How much of an honor that is.
Great.
You guys, women running guys crazy, you know, pandemoniums over these damn, these celebrities, these androgynous demons out there. On the celebrity. You guys crazy for them. How much more in the kingdom of heaven for the men of the Lord and the Yahweh Shai, man? They're gonna be going later. The time of King David and King Saul, women were cheering even back then. They were going nuts, man. How much more in the kingdom of heaven? No celebrities are gonna be there. They ain't gonna be just easy accessible either, man. Just like you got your celebrities inside of this world, they ain't accessible like that. There's levels, you gotta go through the rankings, you gotta go certain fucking people to get certain people. The kingdom of heaven, levels, man. One of the men of the Lord, the elect, ain't just gonna be easy accessible like that. You don't need a celeb to the kingdom of heaven, man. You don't have to go through the rankings like orders and all that. You don't have to get permission, man. But we gonna be amongst our people. We're gonna be alright with our people, man. We're gonna be good, man. But there's gonna be levels, man. There's a nation of Israel, but there's an elect within the elect.
Yeah. Right.
The government of Yahweh Shai. Those are real special specimens of the Lord.
Matthew 19:27-28 says, 27 says, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahweh Shai said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which shall follow me in the regeneration.
Because if there wasn't reincarnation, Yahweh Shai would have lied to Peter, because Peter wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been possible to. It's impossible for Yahweh Shai to reward Peter without reincarnation.
Yeah. He would have told Peter, you have to be the head of the church. Why did you do that? Because in the reincarnation, you don't do that.
It's impossible for Yahweh Shai to give him the throne unless there's reincarnation. Like that's actually fact. It's impossible.
Yeah. Hey, without reincarnation, the Lord is alive. Yeah. But the scripture says the Lord cannot lie.
Right? It wasn't even the Lord's faith. He could have showed one of his favors and said, this to other people. It wasn't that. It's like what the Father would do. Yeah. And the Heavenly Father did, that he created Peter as a special spirit. That was in the reincarnation. Abraham and Moses, in the reincarnation. And that was King David. There's also Jacob, man. When they get technical, that's Jacob, man, the father of the 12 tribes, man. Same guy, Marshall, man. He's coming back in his order. That's why in the scriptures it told you we're going to be in the kingdom of heaven with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham is Father Abraham. That's Abba Bivin, man, the spirit. And you have Isaac, which is Yahweh Shai. Yeah. And then Jacob is King David. Yeah. It just so happens the house of David's kingdom is going to be in the kingdom of Israel. And that's Jacob. That makes kind of sense. It's his lineage, and his house is going to rule the earth.
Yeah.
The house of David.
Yeah, man. Hey, the Lord didn't lie when he said to Abraham, I'll make that seed great, and because literally, man, directly to Abraham, you had Isaac and the spirit, I was spiritual, man.
That's why reincarnation is very important, man. They can't just make it up, man. It's no made up thing, man. Like a man can come back as a tree and put his bullshit, these sorts of push.
Yeah.
And he's to hide himself for the fact that you're the same devil within the wickedness 2,000 years ago. That's why they say that shit. That when you die, there's reincarnation to come back as a frog or as a cat or a dog. You're trying to run for your judgment, man. You know, inherently, when your wicked forefathers did, you don't want to pay for the fathers, you know? You're going to have to, bro. You read it earlier, right? There's 21. You're going to have to, man. You're going to pay for your fathers, man. You don't pay, man. You are your fathers coming back. You're the same devils that had us in the trees lynching us in the picnic, laughing, eating barbecue ribs and all that, man.
Yeah.
Then you came back in the future and you're still living lavish now. You devils are still living it up now, man. Handyland and all that. It's handyland, nigga. You know? See, you come back into your lot. So in the kingdom of heaven, you're going back into your lot again, the slave.
Yeah.
You don't pay, man. You're the slave for shit.
Yep. Says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which shall follow me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, he also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel.
That's the thing, man. That means that everything comes around circle. The Lord isn't going to forget our work and faith in love. We suffer on this side, we lose a lot, brothers and lost family members, even in the past 2 years, man, during the whole lockdown, brothers and lost family members, all kinds of stuff. But, you know, we're going to receive all that redemption, man, like Job did, man, 100-fold. Lord says it in that same chapter, we're going to receive 100-fold, man. Everything you've lost on this side, whether children, women, you know, your pets, whatever, man, you're going to receive that and then some in the kingdom, man. You might have lost your house. In the kingdom, you don't have fucking lands upon lands to build houses, to build cars, palaces. We ain't never going to lack again.
Yeah.
No. You might have been broke on this side. In the kingdom, you ain't going to want for nothing, man. You're going to be living, man. You will.
Scripture says before you last.
Yeah. Before you even ask, it's already granted. Before you even ask, God's already given the green light on it, man. You just got to believe, you know, and you will receive. So we don't, everything we lost, that's why this is, like, even brothers try to bring down the maths and have the lifespan of a Jake according to the heavenly hours, man. You know, really, like, when you break it down, say you live like 40 years in this side, like an hour, that's like an hour in the spiritual realm. That's like an hour, man. So really, you've only lived like nearly an hour in this realm.
Yeah.
That's like a little blip, man.
Yeah.
In the kingdom, you're going to live forever, man.
Yeah.
You're going to literally live forever. You ain't going to age, you ain't going to die. You don't have to age if you don't want to. You know? You're young forever. 1,000 years is one day to the Lord. So imagine that. One day is 1,000 years. So imagine after, you know, one day, that's nothing.
Yeah. No,
it's still going to look the same, man.
Yeah.
One day in the kingdom of heaven, like 1,000 years in the heaven, man.
Yeah.
You just told me you'll be looking young, man. Even after 1,000 years, you still look.
Yeah, vitality, you have the strength, yeah.
You're going to be aging like fucking sport milk, like these devils, after a couple of years.
Yeah. So in Philippians, the 3rd chapter, it tells us, man, that the Lord's going to come with his coming, bring glorious bodies to renew our righteous bodies, man. You know? Hey, in 1 Kings, man, the 1st chapter speaks about the fact that King David couldn't even get heat up to deal with a woman in his old age. Yeah. Yeah. Bathed in oils and all of that, yeah. Raised from birth.
I'm saying, probably calling him daddy and all that, you know, trying to get him up, but he was like, nah, I'm done, man. I've had my time back. This ain't the point. In the kingdom, King Marshall gonna be around, man. He ain't gonna be on the deathbed no more. He gonna be living forever too.
2 Corinthians 4:17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Yeah, so this is a light affliction, man. You know, this is just a mere glimpse in history, man. In the kingdom, we'll be able to live it up, enjoy life as it was intended to from the beginning. You know, enjoy our families and our kids. You don't have to worry about nothing no more.
Yeah, because in this world, as you always say, you can't enjoy your children, man.
Shit.
Because from the moment you hear your missus is pregnant,
half the time you don't even know if it's yours, man.
Yeah, it's hell. mental. Like I said, the
Yeah,
first
okay.
thing is it mine?
Yeah.
Then
Then she's like, say, I don't want to do a test. How
Yeah.
dare you ask me?
yeah.
I don't trust you out, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And then would you put? Then after that, it's a thing of okay, cool. Is she going bring the baby to term? Is she going to die giving birth? Is it this? Then a child comes out. Then now Esau's hovering around the child like,
plugging it up with their
yeah,
fucking
well,
shit.
exactly. And then man, then you got to fucking send them to, and then
It's
from
over,
there
yeah,
it's over, man.
Indoctrinated. It's over,
Yeah,
man.
Hey, just the other day, not police, a teacher got arrested in America for masturbating in front of kids, man.
This place is sick. This place is literally just sick. You need to get the fuck up out of there, man.
Hmm.
Literally, man. Seriously. Crying unto the Lord every day, man. Even in our sleep. You know, for the Lord to come back and destroy this thing. Places need to go. Enough is enough. Fucking hell.
So,
What was that shit?
it's
Keep going.
this is
And if they would make a move, man. Like,
Yeah, let him know. Let him make a move. Hurry up. Stop pussy. Put him, man. Bring this new on order, man. Crush the society. Do what the fuck you gotta do, man. Because as soon as you make your move, the Lord gonna make you move on. Do what the fuck you need to do this for, man. Stop pussy putting and do this shit. Kill as many people as you need to do to get this new on order cracking, man. Do it, man. We want you to do it. Do it, man. Because when you make your move, the Lord is gonna make his move on you, man. Guaranteed, man. Yeah, you're gonna be done after that, man. There's no turning back. That's why you can't turn back the hands of time. You can't go back to what birth used to be. Because the more and more you think it's just getting worse and worse all the time. You can't go backwards, man. You can only move forward now. So hurry up and do what you're doing, man. Crash the economy. Do what you got to bring this fourth industrial revolution, man. You know, bring this digital coin, wherever it is, push this chip so the Lord can destroy your asses, man.
regardless of what he does, he's bound by the Most High story, man.
That's it, man. Bring it, man. Just like the just, you know, just bring it, man. Don't matter, man. Even if you kill us, man, the prophecies are still gonna come to pass, man. Don't matter if you try and wipe us out. The Lord's still gonna return. You're still going into slavery.
The elect are still gonna.
Elect is still to be delivered. You're going into slavery, no matter how many times you try and slice.
Because you know, the blatant scriptures, the Lord is coming with new bodies, and this man can't kill the spirit, so he can kill the body. But the Lord gonna give you that real super soldier body when he comes back in righteousness, man. That extraterrestrial body, man. You know?
Sure, you know you're free, man. They showed the NASA the other day. Jake was watching it on the NASA, man. Show all kinds of ships. Big ass ships, man. Saw a farmer ship, man. It was so huge, bro. Like 10 times the size of the Earth, man. It's going past the moon and all.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun. It was all going past the sun. Big chariots, man. But, man, glory's coming, man. That's why it says lift up your head and rejoice. Redemption is nigh, man. We got to lift up our heads more and rejoice. But this place is done, man. Fuck these devils, man.
First Corinthians 15 and 40. There are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star differeth from another star in glory. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. So there's differentiation, man. And the Lord is going to bring things out of the mystery, out of the realm, into reality, man.
Those angels, ministers of fire, can't fuck with them spirits, man. Them spirits turn your ass inside out. Can't mess with that. That's pure energy.
Yeah. The Lord's going to make the unexplainable explainable, man. He's going to teach men how to be able, and hey, really and truly, he taught Peter how to walk on water, and the answer was faith. The belief that the Heavenly Father can make you do it. That's the thing. You see, Esau Edom won't have that. You don't want a breakdown calculation of mass and body and the support. But that the Lord created the element so he can make the element do what he wants it to do. Like who set the law that water freezes at a certain temperature? It was the Most High. He could have.
Lord, literally at zero, 100.
The Lord could have made it -1.
You know? Yeah. The Lord created all of that, man. The periodic table. You think created all the resources, metals, and the periodic table, man. That was the Lord, man.
Yeah.
How are these devils, man?
Yeah.
The Lord created all that stuff, man. All the minerals of the earth.
Yeah.
How are you talking about, man? You saw, man. You're a big dude. Big trouble, man. I'm telling you, man. You don't know. You're in big trouble. When the Lord gets sent, you're finished.
So Job 14:5, it says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months. So with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Right?
That's it, man. Even you got a time limit. When you think you're gonna sail off into the sunset with your NWO, the Lord said, no, all right, when you do that, this is what's gonna happen, man. You ain't gonna go past the bounds I set for your dumb ass, your red asses, man. You think you're gonna live forever? The Heavenly Father, your arms are too short, man. What the hell are you, man? Some dead Edomite, man. Hasty devils that are made. Cursing my people that I hate forever, man. You think you're gonna rule over my people forever? You nuts? The Lord says it's a jealous power. So how you someone try and say you're gonna rule over the Lord's people? The Lord says it's a jealous power. We're gonna fuck your asses up. Because we belong to the Lord, man. We don't belong to you. The Lord said he's serving us. We're his firstborn. We're his favorite, his peculiar people. You're gonna try and take the apple of the Lord's eye and not expect no judgment? Come on, man. The Lord's gonna miss what? Got you, man. Catch a bitch. What? Over, man. Just ask the back. We ain't got nothing. Daniel's 2 and 20.
This is the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter, and the 20th verse. It reads, Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, forever and ever. For wisdom and might are his.
That's it, man. Daniel knew that. He acknowledged it. Yahweh Yahushua. He wasn't ignorant enough of that. This is where wisdom and knowledge comes from, man. It comes from anywhere else. But the Heavenly Father, who is only begotten. He said, bless that power forever and ever, man.
And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the dark and darkness, and the light dwelleth with him.
There's nothing outside of Yahweh's reach.
Yeah.
Nothing out of his comprehension, man. He created understanding, wisdom, and all that. That comes from him.
Yeah.
You people, man, you're gonna find out, man, the level.
Yeah.
Especially the Edomites, combination. You're gonna find out the levels, man. There's levels to wisdom and understanding. The Lord's only dealing with the nation of Israel, start with the elect.
Right.
We're gonna close out with that anyway. Lord will receive brothers next week. Give all praises and glory to
Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahushua, Hashem, Kadosh.
Double understand apostles and elders of the great millstone, Prophet Sam, and hopeful elect stay strong. Shalom.